This is The Gorge. It's a podcast where my friends and I get together and we gorge ourselves on what's happening in the world of video games and entertainment.
The Gorge is brought to you by Patreon. That's patreon.com/thegorge, where for just $5 a month you gain access to not one but two entire podcasts. $5, I'm really tired. $5 gets you Takeout, a monthly commentary track where we feel like, you know what, I don't want to play something, so we watch something and talk over it instead. And $2 is the grab bag tier. It's everything else. It's not very consistent, but it's $2 a month. What do you expect? So yeah, that's patreon.com/thegorge. We just watched Highlander. That movie's good.
So good.
That movie's good. We actually watched a good movie for once, and it was good for my soul. But yeah, we're doing a roundup today. That's, patreon.com/thegorge. Did I say that?
Yes.
Cool.
Thanks.
That thing. So yeah, we're doing a roundup. I don't have much to talk about. Actually, I have one big thing to talk about, so I'll wait.
Well, I'll go first because I also don't have too much. Besides, I'm spinning my wheels.
Mm-hmm.
Fallout, Final Fantasy, the big three Fs: Fallout, Final Fantasy, and for Star Trek.
Steak.
Brother, this guy stinks.
I am deep into, or not deep, but I'm ankle deep into season 5 now.
Oh wow, you're cruising.
I have met Ensign Ro.
Ro Laren, my love.
That lunatic.
I think
She's so good.
I think the show was lacking someone who's just rude.
Yeah, she's so good. She is unfortunately tragically underutilized because I don't think her actress liked being on Star Trek that much.
I think she had scheduling conflicts.
Okay.
Was a majority issue for her.
Right, it's Tasha Yar's actress who didn't like being on Star Trek.
Oh yeah, she notoriously hated it.
Right.
Yeah, because she was in just the first season, and then as soon as it's
two seasons.
Yeah, and as soon as they were like, "Hey, it's time for everyone to renew their contract," she's like, "Get me the fuck out of here! Get me out of here!
Not.
Write me out of this show! I hate these people."
This fucking sucks. But no, Ro is incredible. She's one of my favorite characters, in the Next Generation, despite her barely being in it. I just think because she is rude, right?
Yes.
And that's exactly what the Enterprise really needs, is somebody who's just rude.
Mm-hmm.
So I love her. She's good. She's a great character.
I just finished the episode where the ship breaks down, and Picard has to babysit children.
Yes.
And Worf delivers a baby.
That's such an all-timer.
episode.
That is an all-timer because it's
easily.
It's basically Die Hard, but on the Enterprise, right?
Easily one of my top 5, just because of how many various and sundry plots are happening.
Oh, it's so good. It's one of my favorite. That's I love episodes like that where it's we're all stuck in one place and we got to find a way to make it work. I think they're great. It's an expanded bottle. It's
unsurprisingly, Sarah's favorite Star Trek is DS9.
Are you surprised?
I like that one of the side plots of that episode is that they're the only remaining members on the bridge, and they're like, wait, technically Troy is our highest ranking officer.
Yeah.
Oh fuck.
Oh
Yeah.
no! And even Deanna's oh fuck!
I don't like this.
I don't know how to do this.
Every Star Trek series, Ben, has to have at least one episode where every member of the main cast gets to be the one in charge.
Yeah. Because we've had Crusher be captain before. I think everybody's had a chance to be captain, including Data. Which is
he was captain in the season finale.
Yeah,
he was.
Funnily, Voyager has the sapient hologram who is the ship's doctor, who has been booted for far too long beyond what he's supposed to be. He has been the ship's captain in multiple episodes.
That's so good. I'm so glad.
It
good
rolls.
for him.
Ironically, that's not a thing that happens in DS9 that often, but that's because of the nature of DS9. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, being the captain doesn't mean quite as much.
No, when it's a
Deep
space station. Yeah. So.
Technically, they don't even let Cisco be a captain for multiple seasons. He's still a commander like Riker.
Yeah, exactly. So, but it's a good one.
Yeah, I'm really enjoying pretty much every episode.
Yay!
Special shout outs to Darmok, the best episode I've seen so far.
It's so good.
It's so good. The only one I think that's better, like Darmok is like the perfect distillation of what Star Trek is, right? Or what the Next Generation specifically is, which is like, we can learn to coexist in this big fucking galaxy via, communication and learning to understand each other, right?
Right.
So it's the best episode of TNG that's about like what Star Trek is about. However, the best episode of Star Trek TNG is just a fistful of data, which is not about any of that shit, but is still the best one.
Oh, it's so good.
I'm very excited to get to that one.
It's all the way in season 7, unfortunately.
It's also like one of like the last 7 episodes, I think. So it's it is very late into it.
But it's so good.
But yeah, Darmok is absolutely like the distillation of all of TNG.
Yeah, quintessential. Like, this is what the Next Generation is about.
Yeah, like if you were like, if you told me to show a single episode of TNG to like express its core ideas, then it's definitely Darmok, right?
Much like in the same way that if someone were to ask me, like, if you were to show someone an episode of Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which one would you do? And it's Layer Games.
Right. Absolutely.
Layer Games is the introductory episode of the show.
Sure.
I would say Darmok is the introductory episode of TNG.
Right. And it's like, do you fuck with this? Then you'll like the rest of the show. If you think this is like too much people standing around and talking, then TNG is not the show for you.
Yeah, there was a great tweet that I saw recently that's like, the best episodes of TNG are where the highest level of action is someone walks a little bit quickly.
Yeah.
If you agree with that sentiment, you should watch Legend of the Galactic Heroes.
Oh no!
Fuck! I've got to watch
though.
Legend of the Galactic Heroes.
The thing is, and the thing about Legend of the Galactic Heroes is that it is the distillation of like, if you took the dry parts of Star Trek and went, I'm going to make a World War II naval drama in space.
Sure.
It's really good.
So I haven't done a whole lot else, but I still feel like talking.
Okay.
So I'm going to bring back a segment I haven't brought back in a while, which is Ben's Transformers toy reviews.
Oh my god. Okay.
Because very recently I got Party Wallop, which is the turtle tank.
Oh, okay.
Why don't they call it the Shell Razor?
Because it's supposed to be the party wagon from the '87 cartoon specifically.
Oh.
But they still call it the Shell Razor even in the cartoons.
Not in the '87 one. Shell Razor is the 2012 Nickelodeon cartoon.
But Ben, I know they've been calling it the Shell Razor since before that because I owned a box that had it on there. I'm so confused.
It might be an unofficial marketing name, but in the cartoon,
it might be a trademark thing.
Yeah, in the cartoon,
in
the cartoon, the '87 one is called the Party Wagon.
Great.
Ben, sorry, not Ben. Peanut, stop it.
No, you should also tell me to stop.
Peanut's also really distressed about this turn of events.
Yeah.
The cool thing about Party Wallop is that they could have done the thing where it's like, oh, well, you got to buy all 4 because it turns into a turtle, right?
Right. Yeah.
It's like, oh, you got to buy 4 of them to get all 4 turtles, right? No. Its accessory kit is you can take off the top of his head, and he has 4 different colored bandanas you can put on top of it, and he comes with 7 weapons.
Great.
So you can just make him whatever turtle you want.
I see.
He's a big boy. He is a leader class, and he's got a really simple transformation though, so it's not annoying to fiddle with. And he's chunky. I really, really like him.
I hate when I actually hate when leader classes are not complicated. That is probably would drive me insane.
Really? I've had some where I'm like, okay, well, I did you once. I'm never doing you again. That sucked.
I like to fiddle. So whenever it's just hey, there's at least 35 to 50 steps, I'm like, oh, that's good. That'll give me something to work with there. I
also like to fiddle, and I don't mind when they're lengthy steps, but I hate when it's when the step is hey, flip this, and I'm like, flip what? This. Flip. I don't know what this arrow was pointing to. Oh, you mean I have to bend this double joint with no indication that this joint is a double joint? Oh, okay. All right. Let me flip this tiny little tab out that no one would ever see ever.
Flip this. Flip the dark? You flip the dark.
Flip the dark.
You gotta flip it turnways, bro.
Flip it turnways. What? Flip what turnways? His ankle? It doesn't go that way.
Ben, it.
Flip it.
It says it. It's right there. The item.
It is right there.
Right here. Thank God for MGO on YouTube, because MGO has a series called Just Transform It, where he just transforms the toy.
Yeah.
I like the I like that one Chinese bootlegger who gets stuff like 6 or 7 months early because he probably works in the production line. And just does like really goofy ones like set to K-pop jazz. It's really great.
But yeah, that's it for me. Like it's all just spinning my wheels. I was like, I should really play Unicorn Overlord some more, and then booted up an episode of Star Trek.
Yeah, that's correct.
That's how it should be.
Yeah. It sounds like a single episode of Star Trek has more plot than Unicorn Overlord. So
That is true.
I could probably just like watch Star Trek and play Unicorn Overlord because there's not much plot to pay attention to.
Yeah, that's true.
Also, for what it's worth, Ben, I would say that most of Star Trek is a what the Xbox of 2010s might call a second screen experience.
Yes.
Yeah.
You can absolutely just listen to a lot of Star Trek.
Yeah.
I guess for me, it's not been particularly exciting. I have also mostly been spinning my wheels. I have finished getting everything set up for Final Fantasy IX.
Exciting!
Yay!
A streaming thing that I will probably start sometime next month.
Yeah, September's around the corner. That's a good time to
September's
start
around the corner.
Yeah.
Ninth month. That's of course when we start Final Fantasy
Oh,
IX.
that's smart. Yeah.
Do you remember when we streamed FF9 in September?
And honestly, it probably won't take us that long to finish Ace Attorney Investigations. So like, yeah.
No. Yeah.
So that's mostly what I've been doing. I played a little bit of Warframe now that we're like I guess they're getting ready for 1999 to come out next year. Again, Warframe does this thing where it's like, hey, we're gonna do a trailer for like upcoming content, and then they go, shit, wait, we don't. Here's some shit in the meantime. That's not gonna happen for another 3 years.
Warframe loves to go, here's all the cool-ass teaser shit for our next big update. Oh, so that's the next one's coming out? No, it's coming out like 4 updates from now.
Great.
Yeah.
Oh, Saturn. That reminds me. One thing I also did is I downloaded Fortnite.
Yay!
So I'm gonna log into that probably after this call and get Gwenpool.
Oh,
Yay!
Well, if you're just gonna log in to get Gwenpool, I'll wait to reinstall it. But if you want to play it at all, just let me know.
I'll probably play it like later on this week.
Okay, because I mostly just like you have to let me know because I have to reinstall it and that will take some time.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's see what else. I know I did one other thing. I'm trying to remember what it was. Oh, that's right. I got back on the UMINEKO train.
Yippee! Oh yeah, we did
Yay!
get back on the UMINEKO train. I guess I did do 2 things, didn't I?
Yeah. Haven't gotten very far because I haven't done anything like last
Couple days.
almost a week. It's been like 5 or 6 days, but got back into it. Full tinfoil hat. Spoilers off about this. I can't believe that I didn't put 2 and 2 together about Beatrice and Kinzo, meaning that the missing gold had to have also been from the 3rd Axis power that wasn't talked about up until that point.
Yeah, it is. So the thing about UMINEKO episode 7 is that it's like, before you go into it, at the end of episode 6's like secret tea party, they're like, we're gonna answer everything. And I'm like, okay, so like halfway through episode 7, we're gonna answer it. No! Shut up! We're starting episode 7 with a bunch of fucking stuff that's just like, this is why this is the way it is. This is why this is the way it is. Are you taking notes? And I'm like, I'm trying.
I need you to understand that when she says, next time we're going to gut this cat, she means that's the entire episode.
Yeah.
It's so funny. Because I just thought, like, oh, we're going to do more fun time mystery game. And
no, they're doing the wizard. We're explaining midichlorians in a very lengthy college course class.
We're gonna tell you every fucking thing, up to including the fact that Beatrice's amazing witch gold was just Nazi gold. It's just Nazi gold.
What?
Hey, what's the temperature? Hey, I gotta ask your opinion since you both all here.
Sure.
What's the temperature check on Ushiromiya Kinzo, by the way?
Bad! The worst man in history! Possibly the worst man in fiction of all time. I hate him with my whole body, my whole pussy. I hate him to death. I look at him and I'm like, ugh. Like, just vile. Horrible man, horrible, bad. I'm not having a good time anytime I see him now. I don't like it. I don't like it. Yeah. I never thought that we would even go, even as they were like basically building up to that reveal, I'm sitting there like, surely not. Right? Like, surely not. I mean, like,
Right.
He was a fascist and a drunk and an abuser and just the worst man who's ever lived.
Worst kind of wife guy you could ever possibly conceive of.
But for his mistress. And I was like, but surely he's not that bad. Ben, for the record, fucked his daughter.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, so you've gone over like most of like Kinzo's like origin story at this point, right?
Yeah, because we are firmly in not Beatrice, Blue Beatrice, Mint Beatrice, explaining her backstory.
So this is not like a thing that is like relevant to the plot, but it is a thing that I think is really funny as like a joke about how that character is written.
Uh-huh.
So, he's from Taiwan, right? Like he was a Japanese man, but like he was a very distant branch family, so he was out living in Taiwan.
Right.
Crucially, this is secretly part of the joke reason why they never actually give you Nox's fifth in the game.
Oh!
Because he is specifically a Chinese national.
He's a Chinaman. Oh!
And the other joke here is that this horrible twist is in fact the twist of the movie Chinatown.
That's so
I hate this. I have to kill Kinzo. I have to kill Kinzo Ushiromiya.
You have to kill him. I'm sorry. No, yeah, because it's like, Ben, because you're never gonna read UMINEKO. We have been building toward this whole time, like, that Kinzo Ushiromiya is like the worst man who has ever lived. But even still, I'm like, he can't be that bad, right? Like,
Right.
Like, where did this other? Because like, there's the mystery of a third baby, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's like a mystery baby who looks a lot like Beatrice. Where did this baby come from? Because the person who could have made the baby was kept isolated from like the rest of like the world by her father, Kinzo Ushiromiya. And I'm sitting here like, there's no way. There is a way, actually. Yeah, it turns out he is just that bad. I hate him to death. I hate UMINEKO. I don't actually hate UMINEKO.
Amazing.
It's a ride, is all I can say. And actually tonight I should get back to it because we're currently on, again, mint chocolate chip flavored Beatrice's backstory.
Hatsune Miku Beatrice, yeah.
Oh my god, she is Miku.
I will say, I forget. The only thing I'll say to set expectations for episode 7 is I think you will be surprised how quickly you get to, that's the end of the episode? That's crazy. And then you'll be hit with the longest tea party in the game by a country mile.
I see, okay.
I'm well aware of that factor.
Okay,
I think it's been warned more than once, so I'm ready for that.
Okay,
like, the raw part of episode 7 is like the shortest chapter in the game.
Okay.
However, the tea party is so long that chapter 7 is still, like, extremely long.
That's so funny. Okay.
Well, I'm prepared.
Yeah, no, but I do love UMINEKO. Every time, like, I'll go away from it for a while, because, I took a huge break from it for a while, just because, life. I never could find a good time to sit down.
Final Fantasy 14.
Yeah, it's like, I can never just find a good time to, like, sit down and just read UMINEKO, but now I'm like, okay, when I go to bed at night, turn on UMINEKO, read it for an hour or two, right? It's fine. But I'm glad I got back to it, because I think it's extremely fucking goated as shit. as it turns out. It does make me... It's goated as fuck. I do feel a little conflicted because it means that Battler and Beatrice are related.
Oh no!
I don't give a shit.
But
Let him fuck.
But then again, maybe they're not? I don't know, because we still have the weird question of Battler's origins, right?
Yeah.
Right? But then again, Battler also just looks straight up like Kinzo. Like, identical. Like, the twist, the very funny twist, not even really a twist, just like a character thing, that young Kinzo is identical to Battler, except he's got white hair instead of red.
And like a slightly different haircut, but it's the same sprites and everything.
Oh yeah, it's incredible. Like, same facial expression, same voice actor. They literally just use Battler's voice actor to voice young Kinzo. Is really good. So yeah, who knows? Who fucking knows? UMINEKO contains multitudes. I've made peace with it at this point.
Yeah.
And yeah, I really enjoy it. I'm really looking forward to seeing how this all shakes out at some point. And then finally doing an episode about this fucking visual novel after all this time.
I'm excited to finally, years later, do a second podcast When They Cry episode and just edit it in a really insane way.
Oh, good.
Yay.
I'm really looking forward to it.
So yeah, that's basically... Oh, wait. I do have one last thing, and it is mostly just a mean little call out to all of those poor folks who have been suckered in to playing Fallout 76 because it's on sale right now. Thank you.
Yeah, we tricked a bunch of people.
Thank you to Magus and Shia and Sev and that other one dude and however many other of you folks decided to go. $10 seems like a good amount for like what I'm doing. And next thing you know, most everybody is playing about once or twice a week with us.
It's very fun.
It's just been delightful. I gotta say.
You.
We tricked you, idiot.
Got another one, fellas.
Now you too understand why we're like this.
It's right. Saturn?
My week, very uneventful. I played Fallout 76. I drew a bit. That's really it. Like, I haven't even touched the newest Warframe update, because there's some part of me that's just like, you know what? I'll just wait. It's fine. It's not going anywhere. I don't need to reinstall that right now for, like, another, like, probably not great 90-minute long plot mission. I could go without that.
Oh, Saturn, it's even funnier.
Oh.
It's even shorter than the Apostasy prologue. It's like 5 minutes.
Great.
Come on.
No.
You know, no, yeah. So I'm waiting on it because it doesn't matter. Yeah, I'm trying to think of, like, literally anything interesting that happened or that I have interesting to talk about. But I'm coming up blank.
Well, I have a big thing to talk about.
We'll get to you.
Okay.
So what instead I'll share is about a fun thing I learned today because I feel like it's
please.
important. Have you ever heard of Pando?
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 Pando is an aspen tree. It's in Utah.
Okay.
Now, the important thing to know about Pando is that Pando is the largest organism.
Yes.
Yes, okay.
Pando is a
okay.
single tree that occupies a space of 108 acres in the Utah Highlands.
Great.
This is because Pando is actually about 47,000 trees that are all genetically identical and joined by an unbroken root system.
Yes.
Cool.
Great. That's
Which
so
means
cool.
they're not actually separate trees, they're just clones of the same tree that are still connected to the main body.
That's so funny.
That's
I love
really
that.
cool.
Very cool.
Oregon has a similar tree colony somewhere near Klamath, actually, in Fallout 2 territory.
Mm-hmm.
So what about Pando, Saturn?
Oh, I just learned about it today.
Well, that's
Fascinated by it.
I just think it's really good that we have the Strangler Heart in real life.
We do.
Yeah, no, they're real.
They're real.
Saturn just gave us a little bit of knowledge we can put in our pocket and take with us.
And you know, just because I think it amplifies the creepiness of this being a 47,000 stem clonal organism that weighs an estimated like 6,000 tons. Here's a close up of like one of its little like knots, and they all look like this.
Oh, that's fun though. It's scary. I love it.
Very fun.
So I think we just have like a Sylvan elder god living in Utah, is what I
Nature.
suspect.
Oh, good.
If it was going to be anywhere, it was going to be Utah. Right?
Yeah.
Now see the thing that would make this worse, beside being a cool thing, is that if you were to accidentally cut into one of those trees and it started bleeding.
Yeah.
Right. Those kind of trees do exist, but I don't think that Pando is one of them.
But yeah, that's me. That's my week. That's the most interesting thing that happened to me this week is learning about Pando.
Well then, I finished Phantom Liberty. Woo!
Congrats!
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Yeah, baby!
Phantom Liberty is good as fuck.
Phantom Liberty was probably like the first game in a while that I played that I actually had to like, oh, what's the right move here?
Oh, I literally sat for a good 20 minutes, just like, there's Somi asleep in front of you with the fucking the spaceship right there, right? Like this is long. We've gone through this whole gunfight. We've done all of this stuff, and there she is sleeping. And your options are pick her up or call Reed, and you're just like,
oh man, oh boy, I need to consult the elder gods on this one.
And ultimately it came down to, yes, obviously I do have a heart for Song So Mi, right? Because like she's somebody who, like V, has just basically been taken advantage of her entire life because she's good at doing something. So everybody just kind of views her as a tool instead of a person. And like, I do have a heart for that. But she did trick me and make me look like an idiot. And so it ultimately came down to the most important thing on the planet, which is simply fuck the police. Right?
Fuck the police.
Like, Solomon is just a fucking cop.
Right.
Like, and I'm not going to help a cop. I'm not going to help the President of the United States of America. I'm not going to give Rosalind Myers that satisfaction. Fuck the police. So that's what it comes down to, ultimately.
By the way, I want to point out one thing about Phantom Liberty, and we can talk more about this when we get to like the actual Cyberpunk 2077 episode.
Yeah,
whenever
that
done with happens. I really thought we would spend a lot more time doing Escape from New York.
No.
Yeah,
and then she's just like, I'm gonna leave now.
Yeah, you just help her get out.
Oh, okay.
Like, and it's like, actually there's a much more like interesting mystery going on with like the super hacker.
Definitely much more interesting, but I thought we were just gonna spend like a lot more time trying to protect the President of the United States from in this, sealed off city.
Are you a bad enough dude to protect the President of the United States? And by the end of Phantom Liberty, the answer is no. Fuck Rosalind Myers.
Also very funny to do her initial mission and realize, really, Rosalind Myers has this handle.
Yeah,
honestly.
she's good.
Like the fact that there is a funny scenario where you can just like let the mission time out and she just gets killed in the plane and you just don't do the DLC.
Great. That's amazing.
It's extremely funny. However, for the most part, like whenever you see her doing shit, it's just like, oh, she's like a super badass. Okay, all right.
Yeah, like she's a super badass. She did like military shit. She doesn't really need you except to find So Mi, right?
Right.
But also she's a huge turbo bitch and I hate her and I was not gonna let her win. And so as always, motivated by spite, right? Like the only thing that keeps me going sometimes is like, I'm not gonna let any of you motherfuckers win. But the ending is so good. There's just so much. I literally just sat and just kind of was like, damn, afterwards, because I just had so many thoughts about all of it, about how good it is, and just, I don't know, like, boy, it's embarrassing that this came out. I know we dunk on Starfield a lot, but boy, it's embarrassing that this came out the same year as Starfield.
It's
within
pathetic.
spitting distance.
Spitting distance. It's no wonder Starfield basically like sputtered on impact. Like it did well enough in sales, I guess. Because like just a couple months before, Phantom Liberty came out and was just like, it's so lavish and so thoughtful, and they're like even all the side quest shit, like the little gig side quests are like way better than anything in the main game, just because there's little moral dilemmas and stuff you've got to decide, and doing what you do unlocks certain stuff for yourself, right?
And the PL, like, they up the game with, like, the gigs are as involved as vanilla side quests are, and the side quests are as involved as vanilla main story missions
yes. Like, everything is so much more involved and so layered, and the level design is also good, and there's just so much, like, there's so much care and attention put into making you feel like you're, like, really in it. They they're really interested in the simulation aspect of it, but not like so simmy that it becomes interminable to play. But like,
right,
they really want you to kind of like sit and vibe at the fucking Grimes concert, right? Like they give you these options to just kind of sit and just bask in the moment and like really take it in, because like, they're aware that they've made an extremely beautiful video game, right? They've just constructed this beautiful thing, and they want you to just kind of take it in. And I like super vibe with it. All of the different scenes, talking to Somi underneath the underneath the bridge with the like the outdoor like couches and stuff with the lights, and just being able to look out over Dogtown. Those exist to like really let you chew on these character interactions and understand or help establish where your V is coming from and understand where Somi is coming from, right?
Right.
And it's so crafted to feel like a conversation between two people. It's not just two talking heads sitting and staring at each other. There's camera movement and there's physicality. I kind of accidentally didn't romance Judy. Sorry. Sorry, V. I kind of friend zoned myself.
Redica V being an incel is very funny to me.
Total accident. I was just like, I'll comfort my friend, and then I didn't get laid. Oops. But all of that stuff is so like there's no there's drama, but it's so relationship focused instead, where these just little moments of swimming around a flooded city with this girl and really just getting to like chew on the vibes and feel this like the claustrophobia, but also being like, this is such like an intimate thing for another person to show you. Like, it's so good compared to your Fallouts and your Mass Effects, which try to do the same thing with like loyalty romance quest.
But it feels so sterile in comparison.
Because they don't ever want to like take you, because Cyberpunk, CD Projekt is like the only company kind of now, I think. I'm sure Larian, actually no, I think Larian is also doing it. But so many companies are so afraid of shutting you out of content, right?
Right.
Like they're afraid of you making a wrong choice and just not being able to do a piece of content, because we spent a lot of time on that content and most people don't replay video games. So there's a chance you're going to buy this video game and not see everything in it. And I think it's cool and smart and bold to be like, no, you can just shut yourself out of certain things, out of certain moments, out of certain set pieces and stuff.
That is the way to more than anything make a player consider their decisions.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, what am I not going to get to do if I make this choice?
Right.
Because also sometimes it's not even obviously a choice. Sometimes it's just a throwaway line of dialogue, and you realize, like, I set the wrong tone when I said this.
Yeah, and it's great. It's such a like good way to force you to, like, one, to consider your words, but to two, like, kind of make you just be like, listen, there's no flag next to a line of dialogue to tell you that this is going to shut you out of a moment or out of a thing you might want to see. So just play the character the way you want to play the character, right? Like, just role play it, do it for real, and like really embrace it. And I think that's awesome. I think it's really good. I think Phantom Liberty especially leans into it even harder than anything in the base game. Like, it's so laser focused on being like, what kind of V are you playing, and what does like their inner world look like when it comes to stuff like making choices and dealing with consequences, right?
Yeah.
And I like it. I like it a lot. I'm really, really excited for whatever sequel they're working on, because this game is really good.
It's not on the docket, but they did confirm that it's Cyberpunk 2 is in development.
Oh yeah, I'm not surprised.
Yeah, I think they've that has been confirmed for quite a bit.
Give it a third-person mode so I can actually see my V, and it'll be Game of the Year. If it's as good as Phantom Liberty and it has a third-person mode, it'll be Game of the Decade.
When I have to ask, because it's just like the I guess for last bits of PL Convo specifically, because I am curious. When the president was like, I'm going to make you an honorary member of the FBI or whatever, I'm curious what the split here is of if people actually like agreed to that or not.
I agreed to it because in the moment it was like, well, I need Reed to trust me, right?
Yeah.
It's a very considered thing of like, I need Reed to trust me, and in order to do that, I need to do this. So, yeah. Yeah,
that was my logic behind it too, is that in this moment, I need to be on her side, so I'm going to do this thing for the moment. I'm pretty sure, I'm like, the game's going to give me a chance to back down from this later.
Oh, yeah.
So here's the thing. When I went through, I didn't do it.
Oh, good.
I don't remember what my reasoning for it was at the time, but I was just sort of like, you know what? No, I'm going to play my V as being kind of a anti-authoritarian, because that's how I've been kind of doing them to that point anyway. And you actually get I don't know if it's the same deal, but you get a really fun conversation with Johnny afterwards.
Oh, good.
Where he's like, because Phantom Liberty has a lot of really great characterization for Johnny, even though he's not really involved in the plot at all. But he has this whole conversation about you, I mean, for all the shit I give you, I wish I had the guts to say no when Uncle Sam came calling for me.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? That reminds me. One of the reasons I did that is because Johnny had been being a shit to me, so I wanted to piss him off a little bit.
Yeah, that's fair.
No, that's so fair.
Here's the thing. You shouldn't, under no circumstances should you do things because they please Johnny. But if you do something that is so cool it makes Johnny feels like he's lame, that is the objective moral flag for the video game.
Yeah.
If you're cool enough to say no to swearing loyalty to the NUSA president or whatever, that is an objectively correct moral to say.
Yeah. Are you a bad enough dude to tell the president of the United States to fuck off?
Yeah.
Right. Anyway, all this to say, haven't watched the first two movies. Absolutely want to watch Sonic the Hedgehog 3 just so I can listen to and finally have Solomon Reed and Johnny Silverhand just trash talk each other.
Yeah.
Oh, that reminds me. I wanted to say this real quick before I forget. But one of the best scenes in that game, speaking of Johnny V and Solomon, is when Solomon has a gun at your back, and V is like, "Johnny, what's going on?" And Johnny's like, I can't see what you can't see.
How should I know? My vision is the same as yours, dipshit.
It's so good.
I love any time they have to kind of figure out how their whole dynamic works.
Right.
It's very 21 and 24.
It's honestly the thing that surprised me the most about Phantom Liberty is that they got Keanu Reeves back at all.
Yeah, they had the whole thing in the beginning where Somi is like, I'm going to shut out the little guy in your head for a little while. It's like, oh, Johnny's not going to be in the DLC because they couldn't get Keanu Reeves back.
Right, because that's probably very expensive.
And then he comes back anyway.
Yeah.
And then he comes back in 5 minutes. It doesn't even take that long. You're not separating. Johnny's just like, I'm not gone. Fuck you. He doesn't even stay gone that long. It's like, oh, okay. I might get Johnny back, but it's going to be a couple hours. That's 10 minutes tops.
Got jump scared into thinking the DLC would be Keanu-less.
I assume it's one of those things like how they were always able to keep Lance Reddick on Destiny, right? Which is that that Activision money dried up real quick. There's no way they were able to continue to offer him Lance Reddick money. However, Lance Reddick just really likes Destiny, and it was and the entire time I was like, "No, I'll come back on. I don't give a fuck. I love playing Commanders of All. That's fun."
Saturn, that makes a lot of sense for Keanu Reeves because he's Shadow the Hedgehog now.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It's like, yeah, I want to do a cool thing.
I want to do the cool thing. I want to be in the cool cyberpunk video game. I want to be Johnny Silverhand himself.
You're telling me I can be a rock star? Well, fuck, alright.
And he's just, honestly, it's such a like, the one sad thing about any Cyberpunk 2 is that they can't do V and Johnny again.
Right.
Yeah.
They can't have that
They just
dynamic
can't.
again.
And it's like, what are you gonna do? I love my buddy cop game. I love my weird cyberpunk buddy cop game where your partner is also your imaginary friend.
I think here's the thing that I think they should do for Cyberpunk 2. Is it can't be V and Johnny, right?
Right.
But they should make a new protagonist and give that protagonist a ghost band in their head.
Well, that's
Doesn't have to be Johnny, but they should just keep that dynamic because it's a good dynamic.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing, is that, like, and this is always, like, rumors and speculation kind of shit, but I remember when this game was first actually starting to do its E3, like, press cycle, like, several years before it came out, and, like, was starting to get actual trailers and stuff, there was some, like, credible reporting that, like, part of the game development plan was that, because Johnny Silverhand is, like, a quote-unquote Night City icon, right? He's, like, an iconic cyberpunk character.
Yeah.
Even before this. And the idea originally was that you would pick your character's, like, idol, like the person they idolize, and that would have been the person who was in the show.
Oh, that's fun.
Oh.
And so there is 100%, like, I could 100% believe they have casting lined up for this, that, and the other, like, Night City icon, and, like, even if it's not the same plot, if they have another thing of just being, like, having this second who is this, scenery-chewing weirdo.
Yeah.
Yeah. Either way, I think if they keep this, like, same amount of quality, specifically from Phantom, and I don't expect every side quest in like, this hypothetical Cyberpunk sequel to be as in-depth as a Phantom Liberty one, mostly because I do like stupid gigs that don't matter, where you just go in and kill a bunch of guys and then get a thing off of a computer and leave, because it's like, that's potato chips video games, baby, and I love potato chips video games.
Yeah.
But, like, if it's like the major side quests and the main quest are as considered and interesting and thoughtful as anything in Phantom Liberty, then, like, it's gonna be the best fucking video game ever made. Then again, I also said that as long as Starfield is just Fallout 4 in space, then it'll be good, and then it wasn't. So
yeah, well, they didn't make Fallout 4 in space.
Yeah.
So a different thing.
Yeah, the thing you have to remember, Sarah, is that they failed to make a game as good as Fallout 4.
Yeah, so...
They were like, it should just be Fallout 4 in space, and they're like, all right, bad No Man's Sky clone, let's go.
Got it. So, we'll see. Either way, I really, really liked Phantom Liberty, and I'm continuing my my journey through games Sarah should have just played last year. So, next up is Samurai Remnant. After I finish Cyberpunk. I guess I do actually have to finish the plot of Cyberpunk. I'm almost there.
You'll finish this Fallout Cyberpunk, and then you'll fall in love with Iori Miyamoto. Just
that's
like
right. And then also I'll do Samurai Remnant, and then probably Signalis and Pentiment. I think those will be my last two games I should have played last year, video games. And yeah,
time for Pentiment too.
I have it. I got it on sale. That game looks good as shit. So
I bought it on sale as well, and it's just been one of those ones that's like,
hanging out.
Hey, remember me? And I'm like, no.
No, I'm sorry, Josh Sawyer. I'll play your dorky medieval game that you're obsessed with someday. I promise.
I need to give him money so that he can be tempted to do to New Vegas 2.
Oh no, that's never gonna happen.
He will if I post good.
The problem is my weeb ass just wants a version of wants Pentiment identically, but instead of being like medieval manuscripts and that sort of thing, it is like the same style of RPG, but like Japanese woodblock prints.
Absolutely, yeah.
And having weird episodes in like a rural principality or whatever, and just like weird intrigue. I would love that
too.
game.
Yeah. Pentiment 2, a game that you never thought would get a sequel. Pentiment. That's good. I think that's it. I don't think I have any. I'm sure I have other stuff to say about Cyberpunk. I think it's really good. I like it a lot. It scratches. Okay, actually, my other thing is Cyberpunk 2, right? It's got to have a third-person mode and you need to be able to decorate your apartments.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yep.
Yeah,
Like,
the extent to which you can customize your apartments and that they added is like insufficient.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So wait, you can customize your apartments?
I don't know if you can customize all of them, but you can customize the default one at the very least.
Wait, which one?
Very
default one.
minimally.
But
Really?
it's extremely minimal. It's like you can choose like a skin for the apartments. There's just like the carpets and walls and stuff like that. Like it's very minimal.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even know you could do that. That's
Yeah,
fun.
it's an option that's like it's like buried on a website on your computer. It's really silly.
I see. That's very silly.
It's very Saint Rose style, where it's just like they just swap out a couple of like decal items.
That's how Fallout 3 was. Ironically.
Yeah.
The house in Megaton. But yeah, no. So let me decorate my apartment and let me have a third-person mode, and it'll be game of the century. Thanks.
Yeah. Thanks for having my TED Talk. Hire me.
Yeah, thank you for coming to my TED Talk. I know that all of... Also, one last thing. Love the James Bond ending credits for Phantom Liberty.
Yeah,
So good.
really
They're
good.
so good. The song is really good. The fucking... They are the most Skyfall it's ever been. Skyfall is a great movie, by the way. Yeah, so I enjoyed every single second with Phantom Liberty. And yeah, that's it. Now that's all I got. More games should have
Okay.
James Bond motifs.
Yes.
Metal Gear Solid 3.
That's kind of it.
No, we discussed a couple others because I remember.
Well,
we were
I'm
talking about
I'm
them.
sure a lot of James Bond games had those.
But most of those are bad. I don't think there's
Yeah.
ever been a good James Bond game. No, GoldenEye is not a good James Bond game.
It's a good multiplayer, but that's not a good game.
No, terrible game.
That's different.
Yeah. So I don't think there's ever even been a good James Bond game. I feel like that's such an easy W. And I know that I know people are always saying that IO should just do that. They never will because they're smart, right? But like, that's such an easy W to just make a James Bond game that's just a Hitman clone, right?
Yeah, it's taken them this long to get a fucking Indiana Jones game off the ground. Like,
Yeah, I mean, there have
It
been
makes
other
sense.
Indiana Jones games of
but have
of
there?
varying quality. Yes, one of the most famous video games of all time is like the old NES Indiana Jones game.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there have been other ones, and there was like that Xbox Indiana Jones game from like way back in the day. Like they exist, but actually the Indiana Jones game is sort of God. We're just gonna keep rambling, aren't we? The Indiana Jones game is tangentially responsible for the games crash of '84 because that game is what got the ET guys the contract to make ET. Ergo, they made a bad video game. Yeah, so
I see.
that's this. Yeah, same guys. They made like the old, like not even the NES, the fucking Atari 2600, I guess. They made that, and it was like a huge hit. It sold super well, and then they were like, "Oh, cool! Will you also make this ET game? We're gonna give you 2 months." And they're like, "Okay, chief." And then they
Okie
banged it
dokie.
out, and then they stopped making video games for 2 years. Like everybody stopped making video games for 2 years, not just them. Like the whole world.
All of them forever.
Everybody. But yeah. Anyways, now I'm done. Sorry.
Anyway, news.
Oh,
News.
fuck the FOD lords.
Oh fuck the news lords.
Furaffinity.net hacked. Major security breach disrupts furry community hub.
This is like a super crazy story, right? Because like the guy
Yeah.
who hacked it now owes like $500,000.
Yeah, because he like put the web domain in his name and then didn't realize that that would create actual legal troubles for him to do that.
I just think it's incredibly insane and evil that somebody would do that. Like, basically a couple of weeks after the owner died.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. So it owns that this guy got like turbo fucked by doing this, right?
Okay, so here is the timeline of events from the first article, because the second article is Furaffinity.net hacked. Hacker identified as Sam Hyde.
Okay.
So here's the timeline of events from the first article. 9 p.m., Discord staff confirmed that Furaffinity's Twitter profile had been compromised. 10 p.m., after failing to profit from a crypto scam via Furaffinity's Twitter account, the hacker began posting offensive content related to the recently deceased Furaffinity creator Dragoneer and explicit furry-related material. 11 p.m., the hacker altered Furaffinity's Twitter handle, leading to another user to take control of the original handle. Shortly after, Twitter took down the official Furaffinity account. Midnight, The official Twitter account was restored, but the hacker managed to seize Dragoneer's Twitter account. 11:53 a.m. the next day, Fur Affinity's developers regained control over the domain and temporarily locked down the site to assess any further damage. And then 11 p.m. that day, official Twitter account handle will return to Fur Affinity team, who probably began deleting the tweets. Website remained under maintenance to ensure user safety.
Okay.
So he didn't have it for very long.
No, he
did
didn't
not.
have it for very long. But still, what a piece of shit.
What a
Leave
bastard.
Fur Affinity alone. It's like the last sacred place on the internet. They still have functioning forums. Come on.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's one of the only places on the internet where you can, in fact, pass the same $20 bill around.
You
Yes.
can, and you do almost a lot, probably. And also, yeah, fucking leave it alone. Like they have forums. That makes them innocent and good.
To clarify a bit more about the cryptocurrency scam,
Mm-hmm.
the hacker showed a $300,000 loss after hacking and promoting those cryptocurrency scams.
Great. Very funny.
Perfect.
So, all's well that ends well.
That's right.
Next, Gamescom 2024 had some announcements.
What did we have?
Not a ton of brand new stuff. It looks like it was a lot of stuff we already knew about. We're just getting more looks at. Speaking of Indiana Jones, that was there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They showed off some more of the new the Batman Arkham game, the VR one, which is like, why would anyone want?
I'm
It's
sad
gotta
that they're still trying. Wow. Okay.
It's got to be
Alright.
one of those things where it's like, obviously, if you're at that developer, like, you're already far enough in that you just have to finish it. But God, the morale there must be bad.
Oh yeah,
It has to be
I
so
can
bad,
imagine.
yeah.
We saw a bit more of Mouse PI for hire.
Yeah, that's cute looking.
Yeah.
That's the Doom like, but it's Cuphead.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's fun.
it's
Okay.
old rubber hose, like public domain now, Mickey Mouse style
Yeah.
artwork,
Okay.
but it's a boomer shooter. So yeah, I'll play that.
I know.
Wasn't there another one, a similar premise coming out soon too, or
Yeah, it's fucking Aces High or something like that.
Fallen Aces. That's already out.
Fallen Aces.
Yeah, no, not that. I was thinking maybe I might be thinking of Mouse PI, but like I thought there was one where you play as like a more. It was more Warner Brothers based than Disney. But I might have just
the
made
Mouse
that
PI
up.
one.
I mean, Mouse PI is very aggressively like Fleischer and early Warner Brothers
Mhm.
in a lot of spots, so that might just be
Yeah, I
might
might
just
have-
be like
Yeah.
might just be conflated. But that's
Might
okay.
Avowed is 30 frames a second.
Yeah.
On consoles, it might not be that on PC. We'll see.
Yeah. I
Either
hope
way, it's
so.
not encouraging news.
It's
They're
not
also,
encouraging news.
it is again very funny though. They're like, no, we're going for 30 frames per second because it's part of our vision. When every Xbox console exclusive that has said that has patched in 60 frames per second several months after launch because it was not in fact part of their vision. It's just they had to run at 30 frames per second to reach Microsoft's launch window.
Great.
That's right.
Yeah.
So guarantee you that game will be running on 60 frames per second on an Xbox approximately 6 to 8 months after launch.
Yeah. I think it was Chris Wolfhard on Twitter that was like, "Oh yeah, they're gonna make the 60 FPS patch for Avowed, and then Obsidian will shut down."
Yeah.
I believe it.
I believe it. I feel so bad for Obsidian because like, I hate to be mean. I'm so sorry. Does anybody actually care about Avowed?
I mean, I'm interested in it.
The
but,
trailer looked cool.
I'm
interested in it just because I like first-person fantasy stuff. But it's like,
Sure.
I have no attachment to the fucking not Path of Exile, the Pillars of Eternity, like universe at all.
Right.
And I know that's supposed to be a part of it in some weird way. And it's like, and Obsidian also has fucking Outer Worlds 2 in development ostensibly, which
Yeah.
I don't know anyone who wants that.
No.
Ironically, the more I thought about it, the more when they revealed like Avowed is going to be kind of more of a shorter dungeon-based RPG and not like an open world thing, the less interested I became.
Yeah,
That's fair.
and I knew that it wasn't going to be like a full open world thing. I knew it was going to be, or at least I assumed it was going to be more like an Outer Worlds type situation.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem is that like I was like, oh, it's going to be like an Outer Worlds type situation. I don't like Outer Worlds.
Right.
No.
Yeah.
So yeah, I feel really bad for Obsidian, but like, because normally these companies, it's like they've been undone by Microsoft. But this feels like something that Obsidian wanted to make.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it just looks really boring. And not like something I give a shit about.
Yeah, I'm very sorry. I'm just not particularly invested in... The aesthetic looks really nice, but like I'm just not invested in that kind of gameplay.
Yeah.
What I think is very likely to happen is not that fucking Obsidian gets closed, right? What I think is going to happen is that they are going to get turned into Bethesda Irving. And they are just going to... Because, like, this is obviously, like they already have something that is basically a Fallout game in the form of the Outer Worlds. And this is them having something that's basically an Elder Scrolls game.
Yeah.
And I'm willing to bet that Microsoft thing is like, well, if this game doesn't take off, we can just use them to pump out more of Bethesda's IPs.
Right. Yeah.
And honestly, like, I would feel bad for their, like, creative autonomy, but I don't think their creative autonomy has produced a whole lot of winners.
Correct!
Yeah.
The only thing they've really produced that seems to be an unambiguous good video game in the last, like, 10 years is Pentiment.
Yeah.
And those Pillars of Eternity games, or whatever they're called.
Yeah.
Which are not like a thing that I would play, but everybody says they're good. Is it
Yeah,
Pillars
I
of
tried
Eternity?
that second one.
Or is
was
it
not...
Divinity? Whichever one they made?
No, there's this Pillars. Divinity is Larian.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
But yeah, and like I've heard those are good, but like, I don't know, I feel really bad, but I just feel like everything they've been putting out lately, they put out that fucking Grounded thing.
I don't even remember what you're talking about.
Grounded, it's
right,
Honey,
that
I Shrunk the
fucking
Kids.
Yeah, the bug game.
Yeah, it's Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
I forgot about that because that was in early access for a million years,
Yeah.
and then it actually came out at some point. I'm like, that game's been out. I've seen cards for it at the GameStop.
Sarah, you said that, and I was like, wait, no, Rareware put that out. And I was like, no, Rareware put out another game that died.
Yeah. Like, and I feel again, like, you look at Grounded and it's so esoteric of a concept. Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, but it's a first-person shooter thing.
Yeah.
It's such a, like, bizarre concept that it has to be something they wanted to make. It doesn't feel like something that Microsoft, like, you know, showed up at their door and was like, we need you to make Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, but a video game. And so it's like they did that. They did The Outer Worlds, a game I think is really bad.
The Outer Worlds is terrible.
It's really bad. And then they also are making this Avowed thing that I also think looks not great. And I'm just like, maybe it'd be okay.
Maybe
it'd
we
be okay if you just got absorbed into the Bethesda blob.
It's kind of like Obsidian has become like the third person action or the first person RPG equivalent of Platinum, where you step back and you're like,
okay.
wait, they only made like 2 good games actually. Now that I think about it,
yeah, I feel bad for them. Because I obviously like the creative freedom that they're being afforded. But you don't seem to be doing much with your creative freedom, guys.
Yeah.
I don't know. So, sorry. Maybe you should make a video game that, like, people want to play. I don't know.
Also, maybe you should make only the video games that Josh Sawyer is involved in, because it seems like the uniting element for whether an Obsidian game is at all interesting or good or just completely sucks ass is whether Josh Sawyer was writing / directing it.
Yeah, so because he's not involved with Avowed or whatever.
No,
so.
his 3 for Obsidian post New Vegas are Pillars of Eternity, Pillars of Eternity 2, and Pentiment. That's
Crazy. He loves making a video game with a P in its name.
Yes.
New Vegas.
Yeah.
As I say, which is surprising because I don't think New Vegas or any of its DLCs have the letter P in their titles anyway.
I know.
You're right.
But Alpha Protocol, which came before them, does.
Well, there you go. So
There
it all
you
works
go.
out. Only other thing of note for Gamescom was we got a bit more Sparking Zero, a little bit more info on the creative aspects of it, like being able to build your own scenarios.
Oh, that's fun. That's cute.
Yeah.
And they're gonna have like you can actually write your own dialogue to create like a little narration.
Write your Dragon Ball Z fanfic using
Yeah.
Sparking Zero.
Yeah, write your fanfic.
There's also the interviews with Bethesda Austin about what's going on with 76.
Oh yeah, there was that. Yeah.
It's mostly just them like fleshing out what we're going to expect about. Hey, so ghouls are gonna have you can play as ghouls in like January or February. How exciting!
Sometime next year, you'll be able to fight a really big snake.
Oh, actually,
Cool.
that's this year. That's this year.
even cool.
Sometime this year, you'll be able to fight a really big snake.
Exciting.
That update is happening. The next update after Milepost 0, which is already kind of like a half update for Skyline Valley. So, I don't know. Maybe November?
That would make sense because that would be like the next
Oh.
season, and then the season after that would be probably the ghoul season. Because they said that they were targeting ghouls for early 2025. I recall.
They're targeting ghouls. What did they ever do?
Plenty over a long enough period of time.
Yeah.
That's true.
Just ask Walton Goggins.
I mean, we're getting raid dungeons, which I'm excited about.
Yeah, that'll be really fun. I'm excited to see how a real ass raid will play
Like,
out.
They heard me go, yeah, they've been developing this game for like 5 years, but there's really not any kind of anything resembling an end game in Fallout. And after 5 years, they're like, we should put an end game in Fallout.
Like an actual end game in 76. So, people without friends are going to be devastated. They won't actually be able to do the content, but
Right.
that's them problem.
Yeah, bad news for most Fallout 76 players.
Bad news for everybody on the subreddit. What a miserable bunch of people. So, but I think that's most subreddits.
Yeah.
Oh wait, there was one more announcement. So you know how hot on the heels of the Fallout TV show 76 got like a resurgence, and
Sure.
they're adding a bunch of more content, and like they suddenly have money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, hot on the heels of this year's biggest movie, Borderlands 4.
Oh.
Oh, that's right.
You know this was we're gonna ride the high of
Yes.
the fan like outcry for how good the Borderlands movie is, and we're gonna have this announcement and it's gonna go great.
Oops.
I still think, you know what, fair dinkum. I think I mentioned this last time we recorded. I still think it's very funny that after that movie bombed so hard, they did one of their huge Borderlands 3 sales. It's like, yeah, it's 1% off for every percent it got on Rotten Tomatoes, and it was like a 94% off sale.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so good.
Delightful.
Who cares?
I'll be keeping my eye on it, if only because those games are really horribly written and annoying, and I do hate them. However, there is good ARPG stuff in there. It's just that it like great buildcraft and things of that nature. Like they have that formula really down in those games. It's just that it's all in like the most unpleasant 7th gen core Reddit video game imaginable.
Yeah.
Of course, yeah. Next, Square Enix only made 2 of these Final Fantasy VII Lego sets, and one just sold for $12,500.
Holy shit.
I say.
They are, I'm gonna be entirely honest here,
Not very good.
kind of ugly looking Cloud and Aerith figures.
Oh, I've got to see
We
him.
They're-
post them in group chat.
They kind of look like what a fan would make out of generic Legos, you know?
Uh-huh.
So
I would say that probably is how it was made, though. I doubt these are official,
Oh.
you know. But it's at least how it's posed, it's the church scene. I don't know if those are
Yeah.
included with the thing.
Yeah.
They don't look like they are. It looks kind of like it was, that background might be photoshopped on a little
Yeah.
bit.
no, I don't. I think it's just the Cloud and Aerith set.
I
That you get
see.
those pieces. Oh no! Wait. Oh wait. No. You know what? No. Okay. Okay, fair dues. There's a bigger picture.
Okay, yeah,
Okay,
I have to
let
see
me
because
let
I'm looking
me
at this
show you
photo.
what the set actually is. Okay, fair to that.
Oh,
That's kind of a
okay.
set. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, you know, I could like. I still don't think this is a $12,000 Lego set. Obviously, I could see how someone would go. Yeah, it's not unreasonable for me to spend $12,000 on this.
Sure.
Mhm.
If you're a turbo rich super fan and you don't have anything else to spend your money on, why not?
Yeah. Okay.
If this retailed, this would probably be a $1,000 Lego set.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Oh yeah.
That looks like at least 2,000 pieces. So and knowing how Lego does it these days, which is literally $1 a brick.
Yeah.
They're insane, by the way. For that.
The article I don't
Oh,
think
yeah.
says how many pieces are in it, but it is 41 inches tall, 29 wide, and 20 deep. So
Big old boy.
That
Yeah.
might be close to 5,000.
But the thing is, like, my frame of reference here is like the Imperial Star Destroyer
Right.
is like itself 3,000 pieces or whatever, and like they sell that for $1,000.
Okay.
That's not nearly as big, but is significantly more technically complex than this. Like this
Yeah.
is huge, but a lot of this is like really basic brickwork that
Yeah.
you wouldn't need a whole lot of pieces for.
like if I think this would be more appealing. Yeah, if they sold it for like maybe cut a zero off the end of that.
Sure.
And instead of maybe like making these really ugly looking Cloud and Aeriths, you just made like little figures,
I would love little minifigs of Cloud and Aerith.
Yeah.
We sadly don't live in a cool enough world to get Final Fantasy VII Rebirth / Remake full ass series of Lego kits.
Oh, I wish.
Because here's the thing. I might not be very hot on those remake games relative to the original one from my experience with it. I, however, would make so many bad financial decisions.
Oh,
over,
yeah.
getting
Oh.
the
If
set.
they sold me a Sister Ray Lego set, it's all over.
Could you imagine a cute little Red 13 minifig?
Please.
Could you imagine like a pizza-sized model of Midgar?
Yes.
Oh, that'd be
yes.
so
That's
good.
Mhm.
Fuck yeah. See,
Oh.
so many bad financial decisions. You're
a
so
little
right.
a little minifig of Barrett. We have to take off one of his hands and put like a little gun hand in. A little orange transparent gun hand.
See, it's perfect.
Oh, it would be perfect. I would love it. Oh, a minifig of Sephiroth with like a 6-inch sword.
Oh. Yeah, there's so many. I mean, there's so much you could make. Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, hey, can I give you some breaking news?
Yeah, of
Yeah.
Is
course.
it the same thing I just saw?
Is it the same thing? You should. Yeah, probably. Studio
It's
Trigger is working on a Transformers project for the 40th anniversary.
Yeah.
Shut up.
I was just about to copy paste in here. Hold on.
Okay, hold on.
Well,
hold
fuck.
on.
Okay.
Hold
Hold
on.
on.
Is
Oh,
this...
we have to. There's a PV teaser. We have to watch this live on air.
Okay, hold. Is okay? So is this gonna be like a 5-minute like celebratory video, or is this
It
a
doesn't
thing?
say.
It doesn't say. I am willing to believe it is a 5-minute video because Studio Trigger would just do that like
Sure.
pro bono, just for the hell of it,
Out of for love of the game.
for the love of the game.
Yeah.
However, anything is possible.
I mean,
Anything is possible.
They've been pretty quiet for a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, like. Yeah. I'm gonna bet this is just like a music video type deal, or like
But
a.
if it's, I mean,
it could be a 12 episode.
It could
it's
mean
12
anything.
episode anime. It could be anything.
My thing is, I think it's probably a promotional video of some
Oh, yeah.
kind.
Sure.
Because there is not any kind of indication of like a publishing studio. Like you do
Right.
not have like a Sunshine or whatever like
Right.
on this thing. Otherwise,
Right.
like, if there was like Sunshine's on here or like whatever fucking thing they were going with, I would be more willing to believe this is like actually like a full series.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I will say that it like no matter what, this comes from Takara Tomi's official Twitter, so like we know it's real.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
There's no bullshit here.
But it's not gonna be what we want, which is a 26 adaptation of More Than Meets the Eye.
That's correct.
The Studio Trigger adaptation of More Than Meets the Eye would kill people.
Yes.
Oh,
yes. It
yeah.
is.
I would be atomized instantly. I would just be turned into like space dust, and it would be the best way to die ever. Yeah, but that's not what we're getting. But what if
Yeah.
though?
What if?
Okay.
Oh, shut up. Okay. Anyway,
We're not getting that.
Don't
Okay,
no.
okay.
Listen, we've learned our lesson. We got too excited for
That game
That
that's never
game.
coming out.
Yeah.
We got too excited for Transformers Overwatch, and they took it out behind a shed and shotgunned it.
Yeah.
It was gonna be Transformers Warframe.
It
That's
was-
all I could ever
It's gonna be
want.
so fucking cool.
I know, it was gonna be.
We're
good,
never gonna
though.
get reactivate
No.
news.
Okay.
Next,
Real news.
Speaking of disappointments,
Oh no.
Crash Bandicoot 5 was canceled in favor of live service games, report claims.
What if we all just killed ourselves?
Oh,
What
I'm
if
not
we-
going to do that. I am, however, going to kill the leadership of Activision.
Yeah, what if we killed Activision? Because
Yeah.
they're the ones that were like, Toys for Bob, no, you can't make cool things anymore.
You have to
Make it
you
live
have to make
service
live service
instead.
shit.
I'm not going to give Bobby Kotick the satisfaction of me offing myself without taking him with me.
Correct.
Good point. Just the slop factory continues. That's all. This Concord thing. Are we talking about Concord in this episode?
We
Is Concord on the docket?
If it's not, it should be.
It does
Concord
not
should be
come
on the
up,
docket.
but we can talk about it now.
It is,
Okay.
however, very appropriate that Concord's not on the docket, though.
Because
Nobody else
not
cares
worth
about
talking
Concord.
about.
Yeah, nobody else cares about Concord.
We could do the numbers game.
Ooh.
You know what?
Ugh.
I'll load up the numbers game for us.
Let's load up the numbers game.
Now, I
so
do
this is all
know-
part of. This is all. I guess it should be said. This is all part of slop culture, right? We live in
Yeah.
a slop culture right now, where everything is just trash.
While you're looking that up, Saturn, I just want to give one quote from this article about how Crash Bandicoot 5 was canceled, and because this is the one that makes me the saddest. This is from gaming historian Liam Robertson. Quote: Crash and Spyro were intended to be the two playable characters.
Oh.
Okay, all right. Well, I'm just gonna quit and walk
That
into the
kinda
ocean.
hurts. That kind of hurts.
All right,
Yeah.
numbers game time. I know
All
this is
right.
going to be a little cheating because we did post a previews of this in the Discord, but I'm just going to hope you've all forgotten.
I have forgotten.
I think I know the player, the top player count, but I don't know what the active player currently is.
We're going to do two. Oh, this is for SteamDB. It's for player counts. I want two numbers from both of you. The first number you give me is the all-time peak player count on Steam.
Okay.
The second number you give me is the number of people who are playing it right this moment.
Okay. Peak 600.
Okay.
And then current 120.
Okay. Sarah?
Peak 1200. Current 75.
Otzi.
Peak 1250.
Oh, Dalton, we're doing Price is Right rules.
And I think current. I'm going to guesstimate it's going to be like 450. No, we'll do 500.
All right. Well, the winner of closest without going over on both counts is Ben.
Oh!
All-time peak 5 days ago, 697.
Oh!
Players right now, 185.
Brutal.
And to rub a little bit of extra salt in the wound, I'm looking at the line graph for its player counts over the last couple of days. On the 28th of August, so today, at about 10 a.m. UTC, which I think that's just GMT, right? Like that's the Greenwich
I
Mean
think
Time.
that's-
approximately.
I think so, yes.
Yeah.
At 10 a.m. UTC, the player count was 86.
Oh my god.
They're fucked. They're fucked. They're
8
so
years.
Did you see the extremely funny PC Gamer article that everybody's been mocking today?
I don't think I have
about
no.
the biggest cope possible.
Yeah, Chris Wolfhart tweeted about it. Hold on.
It was just like, you guys are being so mean to this game they weren't spent 8 years on. Like you don't know, wouldn't have known that this would be a bad financial decision. Yeah, we fucking would have.
Yeah. Okay. The PC game, I like read a little. It's obviously like rage bait to make people click, right?
Right.
Uh-huh.
But I did read a little of it just out of curiosity. But the headline is, the eagerness to grave dance on unpopular games has become a bad habit. And the title picture is, of course, Concord. Fuck off.
Fuck
sorry
off.
sorry that nobody was like interested at all in your slop multiplayer game that looks really ugly and bad.
Yeah, sorry, it's literally not our job to, like, decide to be excited for shit that we don't want to play.
Right.
Sorry,
You
no
have
one
to actually make a good video game for people to play it.
I'm sorry no one liked Great Value Overwatch.
Yeah. And it's so ugly, right? It's incredible.
Hideous. I don't know how you made a game like one of these where I look at it and go, yeah, no, Battleborn had better character designs.
Look, listen.
Which is amazing.
I think a lot of the designs in Marvel Rivals are ugly, right?
Mm-hmm.
But they're distinct.
Oh, yeah.
At least.
Yeah. The designs in Concord are so bad.
They're generic. They're so generic.
And it's not even generic. They're just ugly. Because, like, if they had gone with a cartoonier style, I think a lot of those... I don't think those designs would be better, but I think they would at least make more sense.
Mm-hmm.
But they did this absolutely repulsive, hyper-realistic style that nobody is asking for, especially in your fucking hero shooter, which is supposed to be all about readability, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
By the way, speaking of Concord, like, I can't believe that Marvel Rivals also just decided to eat Overwatch and Concord's lunch by saying, hey, all our heroes are free forever.
Yeah.
It's very funny that for Overwatch is a huge unforced error, because that's how it was in Overwatch 1. And then they changed it for Overwatch 2 because they're like, well, Apex gets away with it, so surely we can too. And they realized that Apex only gets away with it because Apex is a good video game.
Concord is like, we're going to roll out characters weekly with their own little story, and you still have to pay for them, and you don't get them all. It's like, oh, well.
I don't know if I respect Gene Park, but I do love Gene Park's relentless optimism of going like, yeah, well, you know, it was they talked about how it was going to be a really expensive thing to do these weekly things, and they're just committed to it, or whatever. I'm like, oh, Gene.
It's a bold strategy, that's for sure.
No, Gene Park is also just on the cope train. I'm sorry. That's high-grade copium he's huffing.
I think Gene Park is someone who is just always coping, though. I think that's their journalistic bent, is just trying to find the coping.
I think Gene Park just really, really wants everything to succeed.
Sure, and I understand that, but also, no.
Especially given the industry, like, here's the thing. I'm not, like, happy that Concord is such a ill-conceived failure, because I know it's going to mean that, like, hey, Firewalk Studios is gonna get gutted.
Oh, they're gonna take them behind the woodshed for sure.
None of those people are getting Christmas bonuses. In fact, they're getting Christmas firing letters guaranteed.
Yeah.
And, like, I'm not happy about that. And, like, I'm sure you can place blame for whoever at the studio made the decision they were going to commit 8 years of their time to developing this, like, really shitty-looking, like, Guardians of the Galaxy Overwatch. Mm-hmm. And so, like, I get going, like, yeah, no, I don't want it to fail because I don't want those people to be unemployed. However, it's also not my obligation to be excited for this fucking horrible slop.
Yeah, like, you can't... If you're not going to make a video game that people are interested in... And the problem with Concord is that from the moment it was announced... Nobody cared. Like, nobody cared about Concord, right? Like,
right.
I know they had already spent... It's insane that they spent 8 years on this game, and then, like, a couple months out from launch, they're like, okay, we're ready to announce it, and nobody cared. Like,
right.
There's an argument to be made for doing the Bethesda thing of the game's out in 4 months, right? And that's always fun, because it means you don't have to wait for a really long time. But also, there's an argument to be made for announcing your game at least a year out, so that when you realize that nobody gives a shit, you can go, maybe we should pivot somehow.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how you can pivot when you've spent that much time. But also, the mere fact that they spent 8 years on this game means that it was always doomed, right? Like, it was just always doomed. You spent so much money on it, so much time. You were never going to recoup those losses. You're never going to make a new Overwatch unless you're Blizzard or fucking Valve. You will never make a new Overwatch.
And And Valve was the only one to pull it off. They put in 9 years, 1 year for each character.
That's
it worked
right.
out just fine for them.
Like, I think more video games, like, I know it's harder to do this in the current, like, climate of how AAA games, like, how much they cost to make, how long they take to make, whatever.
Yeah.
But I think that people have forgotten the thing that made Borderlands 1 a success. Which is that they were developing that game for a while, and it was like a photorealistic 7th gen third-person shooter or whatever, and like a year out from when the game was supposed to come out, they're like, this fucking sucks. We're going to rebuild the entire game from scratch and completely change how it looks and what the gameplay loop is and everything, and just kind of build some crap out of whatever parts we can salvage. And Borderlands 1 was a really good 7th gen game.
Yeah.
And, like, made in a year, just, like, completely improvising. And it's like, it turns out you can't make a good game if it takes you that long to make.
I'm sorry.
Just period. There's no way.
It's kind of like, have you ever heard of, like, the movie that cost Colin Trevorrow his director spot on the 3rd Star Wars movie? You know how Colin Trevorrow, the guy who directed the first Jurassic World, was going to direct Rise of Skywalker, right? And then he put out a movie that was so bad that Disney says it's not why he lost the job, but it's 100% why he lost the job. And that movie is The Book of Henry, right? That is a movie that has been in the director, or that's been in the writer, it's based off a book, that's been off the writer's head for like 16 years. And the problem is, unless you're Christopher Nolan, you can't do that. Because the problem is that when you were 16, you had really bad ideas. If anything takes that long to make, like Winds of Winter, if it ever comes out, will be bad. Right?
Yeah, it's too long.
It took too long. If anything takes that long to make, the likelihood of it being bad is extremely high. Because between now and then, either you changed a bunch of shit to adapt to your changing you, like your individual self, and you adapted it as you went, so it's like weird and kind of jumbled and fucked up, or you never changed it ever, and all of those bad ideas you had when you were 16 are still in it. That's what Concord is. If a game takes 8 years to make, it's going to be bad almost no matter what.
Literally the only thing I can think of that took like 1 billion years to make and actually came out stellar was fucking Fury Road. Like, that's it.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
But that is the exception to prove the rule, because every other movie that took that long to make sucked ass.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, after a certain point, when something takes that long to make, you're overworking it. You're overthinking it, and if you overwork a painting, you fucked it up. That's like a very common artist thing, is overworking something, right?
Yeah, well, it's also it's the food metaphor applying to video games, which is if you leave something in the oven too long, it goes bad. If you take something out too quickly, it's not good.
Right.
Well, it's like bread. It's like making like a meringue or a bread, right? Like you can like be like, you can in fact do too much to make it right, and then as a result ruin it completely.
Yep.
Next, PS5 Pro coming this year, could be $600.
They're so funny.
You know, they just raised the price of the normal PlayStation in Japan.
Yeah.
Are we gonna fucking get the $500 meme back? Are we gonna get $599 US back?
Yeah, God, I hope so.
Yeah, I can, because here's the thing. There is exactly one thing that could trick me into it, and it's if they put out fucking Bloodborne PS5. But I don't think that's gonna happen.
No, it's not gonna happen.
We're having a lot of there's been a lot of outcry of Japan, like from Japanese players going like, no, fuck that. Like, why would I ever buy a Sony platform again if this is how they treat their customers? And it's like, we're going to end up in a weird scenario where Microsoft gets completely out of the games industry, but doesn't go bankrupt because they're Microsoft. Sony, despite winning that fight, manages to lose its complete gaming presence to Nintendo, who continues to win by doing nothing in particular.
Yeah.
Nintendo is going to put out a PS4 you can hold in your hand, and it's going to just completely devastate the console market.
Because, like, I do understand that the yen is very weak right now. right?
Right.
But
It's so weak.
it's so
terrifying
weak right now.
I can't
But
wait to go to
also-
Japan.
I know, but also after a certain point, you just gotta eat the losses. You're Sony. You're from Japan.
The thing that gets me the most about the PS5 Pro, right, is that for one thing, so the PS4 Pro had a reason to exist, right? There were a lot of games that on the PS4 that didn't run great. Okay,
Right.
there's not a lot of games on the PS5 for one
Right.
thing. None of the PS5 games I've played, I've been like, oh, this could run better. Games run great on it.
Yeah, like the
like,
PS5 runs fine.
Like the PS5 Pros, just because like you played Sun Wukong or whatever, and it dropped a couple frames here and there, and you're like, no, trash.
Yeah,
Like,
no,
it's
I'm
only
like,
for sickos.
like I'm playing Rebirth, I'm playing Spider-Man 2, and I'm like, they're great. Like I didn't run into any mechanical issues or bits where I was like, this needs to be improved.
Right.
But it seems like especially short-sighted for Sony to be doing this, because it is also a thing where, like, a problem they are struggling with is the fact that there's tons of game publishers in Japan who are still just putting things out on PS4 and going like, yeah, if you want to play it on PS5, just load it on PS5, but this is a PS4 game. Because people have PS4s, and we don't need the PS5 to run this game that we're making, because it's like a fucking visual novel.
Right.
Like, they need to be doing things to abate that.
They're just like, there's no... If you raise the price on the fucking PlayStation 5 in your home country, can't overstate this enough, like, why would anybody buy it there? People are just gonna keep buying PS4s, or you just buy more Switches, because all the fucking visual novels and JRPGs and all that stuff that like Japanese players like, it all just comes out on the Switch too. Fucking Tsukihime came out on the Switch, right?
UMINEKO's on the Switch.
Yes! Like, all of that stuff that's very specific to that market. They announced a port of fucking Tokimeki Memorial for the Switch, right?
They did do that.
Which, by the way, I am begging somebody, please. I know it's niche. I know it's a lot to translate.
I think there is a fan translation project for that is like either complete or very near completion.
I thought it was for the Game Boy game, not for the PlayStation game that like drove Tim Rogers categorically insane.
I could have swore it was for the PlayStation game, but I don't know.
It's something to look up, because I want to play Tokimeki Memorial forever with you, right? Because it's like it's like the OG. Although I've heard the second one is like way better in basically every way.
Probably, yeah.
But I still want to, because like just 2 is just luxurious in all of its details and stuff.
There's a very high chance someone's going to pick it up to localize for the Switch.
I mean, if Tsukihime and Fate Stay Night can come out in America in 2024, Tokimeki Memorial 1 and 2 can as well.
Yeah.
I believe. I have hope and faith.
I just want I just want to hear the Nintendo Direct trailer guy like, move over, quote unquote, dating sims. The real ones here now.
Yeah.
What would you even... I guess you could still just call it Tokimeki Memorial.
You could just call it Tokimeki Memorial, yeah.
That's true.
Well,
That's cute.
it's literally just like, what, Heartbeat Memorial,
It's like
right?
Heartbeat, yeah. Or,
Yeah, I mean,
or
you could
Sparkle.
either one. I mean, did Tsukihime get translated?
No, they still
No.
just call it...
Yeah, there you go, Tokimeki
That's
Memorial.
Fair. That's fair. Just call it Tokimeki Memorial. Good point.
They're it's 2024. They're better at leaving things in Japanese.
That's true. Good point. But yeah, no.
They can trust some of us now.
They can
Here's the
trust
thing:
some of us.
the expected audience for Tokimeki Memorial does not need its name translated.
No,
Yeah.
you would get excited to hear them call it Tokimeki Memorial, right?
Right.
Yeah, that's true.
Making fucking Tim Rogers voice noises the second you hear it.
Oh yeah.
She called me Bubbas.
All I would do is I would open my mouth and the Doom shotgun sound would come out. You know?
Yeah.
Bingo.
Bingo! Yeah, so please, I'm just... Somebody out there.
No.
Please.
Instead, we get the another fucking super trashy American quote unquote dating sim where it's like, oh look, it's all your office utensils and they're all like generic hot anime guys. Don't you want to?
No.
Does this do something for you? And it's like,
No.
anything?
no.
Well,
I'm wilting. It makes me want to throw up. I hate it. No.
I need here. If you're out there, if you're listening to this, if you're making a visual novel, and by the way, this dating sim, it's a visual novel. You have to have at least the mechanical complexity of the real life parts of a Persona game to qualify as a dating sim.
That's
Sorry.
correct.
yep.
But if you're making a visual novel and your whole thing is like, well, it's not like other visual novels, just stop. Just delete
stop.
everything you've made. Your premise is wrong from the start.
Delete
you can't
it.
make a good game based on making broad, extremely ungenerous generalizations about an entire culture's like decades of output. Like, go fuck yourself. You're not that smart.
Off. Especially because like you still want to make it and you still want me to buy it, despite the fact that you clearly have like deep contempt for all of the source material, right?
Right.
Like the only people who ever nailed it were the fucking Katawa Shoujo guys. Right?
And those bastards like visual novels.
That's because they read visual
They
novels.
love visual novels.
They love. That's the point. They love. It's a bunch of fucking white guys on 4chan who were like, we're gonna make a visual novel about dating handicapped girls, and it's good.
It's good.
Because
It's
they
really
actually
good.
care. They actually care about that kind of shit. Turns out.
It turns out the best people to make a parody are people who like the genre you're parodying.
That's why Hatoful Boyfriend is so good, because like, yeah, it's kind of a parody because it's birds, but like it also takes its own premise very seriously.
It's a proper pastiche.
Yeah.
It's not just like it's not like a scathing parody. It's also like, well, it's a love letter to the genre.
Yeah.
I enjoy it.
Yeah, exactly.
Why do you think the Venture Brothers is good?
It's why Doki Doki Literature Club is good, because it never feels like it's making fun of the genre. Because the guy who made it loves it.
It's subverting the expectations. It's lovingly being a visual novel.
Yeah, and it's like, but I just want it to. The guy who made it's like, yeah, I wanted it to be like a visual novel about a girl in a visual novel becoming sentient and like what that would cause. But it's not like this ain't your mom's visual novel.
Yeah.
This is like, it's played totally straight and like played with a lot of love for the genre, because he's clearly a huge weeaboo.
Unlike other giant robot animes, ours is about the characters.
If you want an American VN that is made by people who like VNs and is like taking its genre and its medium seriously, Of the Devil Episode 0 can be played for free on Steam. It's like 2-3 hours. It's very good. Those same people also did a Spookfest Game Jam shorter VN called Model Employee, which you can find on itch.io. That is very good. And I've seen some of the stuff they're making for Spookfest this year, and it looks really cool so far. So there are, in fact, people out there making good visual novels. They're just not getting any screen time at Nintendo Directs.
Do we want to talk about how Nintendo won by doing nothing?
Sure.
Here's all the biggest announcements from the August 2024 Nintendo Direct. We had an Indie World and a partner conference.
Okay.
Balatro is getting a bunch of DLC with Vampire Survivors, Among Us, The Witcher 3, and Dave the Diver decks.
That's so funny.
We saw Coffee Talk Tokyo, which, hey, because Nirvana's never coming out, we're just gonna have to take Coffee Talk Tokyo, okay? All right.
The problem is that everybody wants Nirvana. It's never happening because of sociopolitical things way outside all of our control.
No, here's the fucked up part. Those people, they are currently making another video game, like, that isn't Nirvana, and they were like, yeah, this was further along in development than Nirvana was, so we're doing this first. It's like, man, come on!
The Venn diagram of Shrek and Final Fantasy VII Remake now has a sliver between it. Because we're getting Shrek Power Wash Simulator DLC.
So funny.
I don't think... I'm morally opposed to this. I don't think you should clean Shrek Swamp.
I think he'd be very mad at you if you did that.
This is the whole appeal of the swamp.
I think the idea is that, like, it's not cleaning up his workshop or anything. He's just, like, he's got to get the carriage up and running because he's got to go see his in-laws again.
Fiona and the kids need the place cleaner. So he's got to begrudgingly hire some power wash guys.
Sure.
Yeah.
Your Shrek Power Wash DLC should be to make the Shrek Shack dirtier.
Yes,
Yeah,
correct.
you're spraying it with mud and stuff.
Yeah.
I need every square inch of this place covered in slime and filth.
Now, I know it's like the wrong word for it, but you need to goon slop my whole damn house.
Sea of Stars is getting DLC. Throes of the Watchmaker.
Okay.
Good. I really liked Sea of Stars. Morsels was announced,
That game looks
which
sick as hell.
looks really cool.
Explain this to me, because I missed all of that.
It is a weird roguelike with it kind of, the visuals remind me a lot of
It looks like Nidhogg 2.
Yeah, Nidhogg 2.
Okay.
But like more like little creatures rather than like a really weird clay looking guy. Like
They're still
they're
insanely gooey pixel art.
yeah, they're critters. Like it's a bunch of bizarre looking goblins. Coming out in February of next year. Date everything, which is what we were talking about earlier.
Who
Fuck
cares?
that
Hey.
shit. I think if you're making that, you should cancel it. Like, I know
Yes.
you already spent money to get on Nintendo Direct. You should cancel it.
Yeah.
You're morally and ethically obligated to just have your house get foreclosed and let your children live in poverty.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I'll also link the Steam page for Morsels because it is coming out on Steam, and there's
Yeah.
some GIFs on it that you can look at least. So you can get a sense for what I mean by it looks like a Nidhogg 2 game.
Pico Park looks like the most adorable way to make you hate your friends.
Okay.
It is a cooperative platformer game with up to eight players, where you are all lashed. You're playing these little. They kind of look like blocky cat people, and you are trying to get through like little classic Mega Man-esque like platformer obstacle courses, while being tied together.
Okay.
So you have to clear pits, you have to like jump on someone's head to get more distance for your next jump.
Right.
Make staircases out of your friends to get to higher platformers. It looks very fun.
This is becoming a very weird micro genre of multiplayer game where all of your characters are tied together.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there's been a couple of similar ones before that are kind of cute. Good party games.
There's a game called On Your Tail, which looks really cute. It's like an adventure game where you play as a cowgirl, like an actual cow girl.
Oh, cute.
A Moo Mesa sequel.
Yeah. Looks like you're doing kind of like mystery investigation and talking to people. And then the indie showcase ended with the reveal that Pizza Tower is coming to Switch.
Good for it.
Good for
Pizza
it. Very funny to have the Wario Land parody game on a Nintendo console.
Well, they ain't making any more of those. So
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
The partner direct had a bunch of cool stuff too. They're putting out a big Tetris collection that's got like a whole bunch of different versions of Tetris on it, like all the classic, NES and upward versions.
Quick sidebar, actually, could you imagine like a $60 Mercury Steam WarioWare game?
Oh God, don't even.
Or not WarioWare, Wario Land.
Yeah, Wario Land. Oh, I want that. Fuck. That'd be so cool.
Anyway, sorry, I was brain blasted by
Yeah.
that and had to share my poison. Please continue.
Star Overdrive, which is a Tony Hawk Tears of the Kingdom game.
Oh, Helix Snake is gonna have a fun time with that one.
Yeah, you have a jet board. You were skating around like a planet, and it looks like it's a lot of very fast Tony Hawk like skateboarding stuff, but also combat and like lifting objects like in Tears of the Kingdom and throwing them around.
Interesting. Okay.
Capcom Fighting Collection 2. Very nice of them to include a bunch of these other smaller titles along with their re-release of Power Stone 1 and 2.
Mm-hmm.
Power Stone?
Power Stone coming back is like the most like I would have never in a million years.
This collection includes Capcom vs SNK Millennium Fight 2000 Pro, Capcom vs SNK 2 Mark of the Millennium 2001, Capcom Fighting Evolution, Street Fighter Alpha 3 Upper, Project Justice Power Stones 1 and 2, and Plasma Sword.
This is like a release that feels like the way it was conceived is if you are 30 or 40 years old, I need you to shut the fuck up and stop asking me for this.
Yeah. The fact that this is called Capcom Fighting Collections but includes SNK 1 and 2 is fucking insane.
I feel like maybe SNK's proprietary by whoever it is owns them now, like a Saudi prince or whatever. Maybe it seems like they've been having a lot of hey Capcom, put us in your stuff. You can do whatever you want with us. Yeah, you can sell a collection with our games on it if you want. Capcom. I think maybe they're realizing it's significantly more profitable to do that than just depend on the people caring about SNK in the year of our Lord 2024.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah. I love Power Stone so much.
I fucking love Power Stone so much.
Literally the best One Piece video games in the entire the oeuvre of different video games are literally just Power Stone clones.
It's true.
It's perfect. It's perfect.
It's true. I fucking love Power Stone 2 so goddamn much. I'm so excited to buy it on a platform that's like modern. I don't have to try to get my Dreamcast to work on a modern TV. This wasn't announced at the Nintendo Direct, but it was announced simultaneously with it. The Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection, all physical pre-orders will come with a 30-page brand new comic.
That's cute. Good for them.
So I pre-ordered it.
Of course.
Yeah, well, yeah, obviously.
Naturally.
Suikoden 1 and 2 HD remasters
Nice.
Ooh.
are coming to Switch.
Cool.
Castlevania Dominus Collection, which are the 3DS games. The 3DS games.
Not the 3DS.
Yes.
I have not seen. I do not think there is a single video game I have seen Dan Video Games of Gigaboots so excited for that the day it was announced he did a death stream of Order of Ecclesia. Because he has been waiting for that to escape the DS for 17 years.
That's so funny.
Tales of Grace F remastered.
Who cares? More importantly, nobody cares about Tales of Grace's F. It's bad, but it has a good battle system, and probably one of the cutest Tales characters ever in the form of Sophie, who is extremely good. Let's get
Sophie
that
the
out
purple
of the way.
hair one or the red?
Sophie is the purple hair girl one.
Okay.
Yes, with the pigtails. She's perfect. She's a robot. She's very awkward. We love her. Who cares? They're doing a Tales remaster project. That means we might get to actually play all of the ones that are on fucking PS2 and PS3 jail.
The one of the mid PS prisons.
Yes, like
Abyss.
Like Abyss.
Yeah, Abyss.
And Exilia.
The order of Tales remasters I want are from top to bottom. Abyss.
Yeah.
Exilia 1.
Mm-hmm.
I want a good version of Symphonia.
One that actually functions.
Yeah,
that would be nice.
I want them to just port the 360 version of Vesperia.
I don't think they're ever going to do that as much as I want it. But they're never going to do it.
It would be like re-releasing Persona 4 Vanilla.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
and as much as I think they should re-release Persona 4 Vanilla, because that's still a good video game.
Yeah.
And in a lot of ways might be better, but nobody's ready for that conversation.
Mm-hmm. The thing is, Sarah, that's a conversation. You can't have that conversation with Vesperia PS3 because all that new stuff is way worse.
Yeah, that new stuff is way worse. And all the mismatched voice acting fucking sucks, but whatever.
Yeah. And then maybe if you really feel like you can put out Exilia 2 on something, but
I think they should put Exilia 2 1 and 2. They should just put that out for $40. I would play it even though I don't think Exilia 2 is very good. Writing wise, because it does have the best battle system in the series, and it's not even close. So that one's extra. I think Abyss is probably the one that is. I think everybody wants.
Abyss is the one that we need the most.
It's the one that we need the most because, yes, you can't play Exilia right now, but it's
easier to get a functioning PS3
Yes.
than it is to get a functioning PS2.
And a copy of Tales of the
Yeah.
Abyss.
Yes,
Yeah.
or to God forbid play it on the 3DS,
Right.
right? Where
You
it
can.
looks
I think you can
terrible.
still get a digital version of Exilia.
Yeah, you can
Right,
still get a
so,
digital
like-
version of Exilia. Like, there are still ways to play Exilia, however limited they may be.
Mhm.
But like Abyss, especially, is just trapped in limbo. It's on the 3DS and the PlayStation 2, and it doesn't run very well on either. Either it runs at a smooth frame rate and has okay load times, but it looks like dog shit, or it looks like a PS2 game, but
Sarah.
oh boy, those load times.
Sarah,
Mhm.
can you imagine? Can you imagine a version of Tales of the Abyss
Oh my god.
where you
please.
don't dread getting into an overworld battle?
I dream of it, actually.
Could you imagine getting in an overworld battle on Abyss and you don't have to check your phone?
Yeah, it's amazing.
I thinking about the idea of like also like a version of Symphonia that's like good instead of bad. I was just thinking again recently about the Tales of Symphonia localization, and I think what is my favorite video game localization maybe ever, which is the line "Zero Summer Special Plunder" gets localized as "We're going with my pimp plan."
Yeah, it's so good. To this day, I think Symphonia has an extremely fun localization. Like, it's just really fun and good.
Very aughts.
Mhm.
Very aughts, but like in that really funny, goofy way.
It's very much the
swear
equivalent of like Dragon Ball Z film dubs, where you're like, oh, they finally jazzed it up, huh?
Yeah, it's the really good line of, Lloyd, if you abandon me here right now, I swear I'll haunt you for the rest of your days. And Lloyd just goes, I suddenly had the violent urge to abandon you here right now.
Lloyd
He's
Irving
great.
is one of my favorite protagonists for being a complete dumbass, but also sometimes being the smartest man in the room.
Yeah, it's good. I mean, Symphonia is still a good video game, even if it's a little rough around the edges.
Yeah.
Much like Tales of the Abyss. Which is a great video game. And even if it is extremely rough around the edges and kind of ugly, but you should still play. Please, I am desperate.
I'm begging you.
I need people. I need people to play it. I need it.
I need the return to Abyss.
Because, like, especially these days, like, the lady who wrote Symphonia wrote Abyss. She, like, had... I don't know what she had. She had, like, a crisis of conscience or something. And wrote, like, this extremely bleak video game after writing Symphonia. I don't understand. And then she wrote the TV treatment for Fate Zero. So I guess she just kind of kept spiraling for a while there.
Unfortunately, she absorbed all of Urabochi's depression.
Urabochi went to make his Chinese puppet show.
Urabochi was just like found like a Muppet and like suddenly had an idea. Meanwhile, she like lost her dad in like a really sudden and traumatizing way.
Yeah.
And it's just like, oh, time to be sad forever now. I don't know. But
Though
listen,
I will say, for what it's worth, the Fate Zero anime is decidedly a lot less dark than that original light novel, so maybe she was still just like, no, we can make this better.
We can do a little bit better than this. I don't know.
We don't have to have an extended pointless sequence where Tasaka Rin fails to save the lives of dozens of children.
Yeah. We can actually just make it okay, actually.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I need
the return to Abyss. I need to come back.
Abyss, more than anything, needs to be made playable because it's the best one. I know. I'm always saying Berseria is the best one. And it is the best one. But also Abyss is the best one. Do you understand?
Abyss is so
no,
fucking
I don't,
good.
Sarah. I have played both and I don't understand.
No, I'll make it clear. Berseria is the best Yuri, and Abyss is the best Yaoi.
That's correct.
Oh, okay, I get it now.
Okay,
Yay!
I understand.
And that I guess that means Vesperia is the best normal.
Yeah.
Ironic,
Really?
considering
No.
Yuri and Flynn, but
That's what I was gonna say, is I actually think Vesperia might be the best yaoi. And then Abyss is just the best normal. Because, that actually has a fairly believable heterosexual romance in it.
Yeah, this has a good head in it.
Yeah. Luke and Tyr is actually like a believable heterosexual romance between two extremely sheltered individuals, and it's good actually. So that
when
makes
two
sense.
brats tame each other.
That's good. That
correct.
actually is the plot of Tales of the
that
Abyss,
is the plot.
Saturn.
Yeah. Well, you know me. I have my prognostications and things of that nature.
Yeah, of course.
I don't know if you notice about me, but I am
Clairvoyance.
recognized by the throne as a grandcaster, so I
You do
need
possess
y'all
a
to
high
start
enough
treating me with a
level
little
of
bit more
clairvoyance.
respect.
Yeah.
No, I'm taking away your stupid dodgeball. Stop hitting me with that.
But fuck all that.
Uh-huh.
Most important thing announced at this direct, because of the
What is it?
implications. They're putting Yakuza Kiwami on Switch.
That's so funny.
You know what this means? Is the
They're gonna
Switch
get-
2 is going to get Kiwami 2.
That's right.
And subsequently, all the other Yakuza games.
I wouldn't have been surprised about this news if this was a Switch 2 title.
Uh-huh.
I'm flabbergasted they found a way to get this running on the Switch 1.
Well, it's not gonna
Saturn,
run well.
I'm going to say something right now. They didn't.
You know what? That's fair.
This is a Switch 2 game that they announced early.
Yeah.
That's fair. That's fair. You know what? You're right. You're so right.
Crispy 30 frames a second at
Ugh.
480p.
It's
If
gonna be
you're
so
lucky.
crunchy. It's gonna be so crunchy. They're gonna rub Vaseline all over that game. It's
But
disgusting.
my favorite part is that I know why it's Kiwami and not Zero.
Right.
What?
Despite everything, despite it coming out later, Kiwami is still
Kiwami has way less moving parts.
Kiwami still has like way less moving parts. It is also still Yakuza 1, which is an incredibly short fucking video game. It's like it's like DMC 3.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense. That
Yeah.
does make sense.
Yeah, this is the one you put on the Switch.
Mm-hmm.
And then you
And
put the rest
put
on the
all
Switch.
the other ones on the Switch too. Yeah, exactly.
Look,
Yeah, hey,
listen.
guess what? If you can play the entirety of the Yakuza franchise on the Switch 2, there's no reason on a PlayStation.
Yeah, that's correct. If you can fit Like a Dragon or Infinite Wealth on the Switch 2, then it's game over. I don't know if you'd be able to put Infinite Wealth on the Switch 2.
Well, because Infinite Wealth's a PS5 series exclusive, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you might not be able to do that, but I know
You can if you
prior
rub
ones
it in.
on-
You can if you rub it in Vaseline.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
It's turn-based. They don't have to run in 60.
It don't gotta run at 60. You put that
You're
shit
right.
at 30, and you put that smudge filter all over everything, and it's fine, baby.
Now-
That's
now,
still
to be fair-
Infinite Wealth.
knowing the Switch's track record, they're going to get that game running at 20 and to be satisfied.
You'd be thrilled. Yes.
I played SMT5 on the Switch. I know how bad it can be.
But that's it for the Nintendo Direct. Very good Direct all around. Very exciting things happening on the Switch.
I like that every time they announce a direct now, they have to like preface it with, there will not be any information about the Switch predecessor here. It's like, okay, thank you. When are you going to announce that? You need to get on that, Nintendo.
Next, we have a couple more articles. Sonic the Hedgehog 3 trailer. We talked about it a little earlier, but that was a good fucking trailer.
Yeah.
I love Keanu Reeves' Shadow.
He-
I knew I was going to enjoy it because I know exactly how he was going to sound,
Yeah.
which is to say Johnny Silverhand. But hearing the phrase, "Oh, you're a colorful bunch,"
Yeah.
and it literally just sounds like Johnny. I was like, "Oh, that's great."
He's doing the voice correctly to match the energy that Ben Schwartz and Idris Elba have.
Right.
Well, he's at there. I think Idris Elba and him are both having the Clancy Brown realization of like, you know what I should do as I like age into being an older actor? I don't want to be an old guy in movies. I want to be in cartoons.
Yeah.
Cartoons are more fun.
They're all of them are doing the thing where they're realizing, oh, we're a cartoon character. We need to play into that.
Yeah.
I really hope they inexplicably put like a Phantom Liberty reference in that movie.
That would be
Oh
fun.
God, please.
They finally made Dr. Robotnik fat.
Yippee! I still think that from the start he should have been played by a fat actor, but like, you know, whatever, it's fine.
But Jim Carrey does do a good job as Dr. Robotnik.
Right.
He does bring a lot of manic energy to that character that is greatly appreciated.
I think you make the trifecta work of you have Blaze the cat show up in the movie, and she's voiced by Sharami Lee.
Yeah.
That might be so the trailer, there's people have pointed out there's a couple spots where like there's conspicuously a blank spot in the lineup that should probably go to Amy Rose.
Oh, has Amy Rose not been in any of these movies?
No, she's not in any of them.
Oh, okay. No, then you make it even easier. You have Sharami Lee as Amy Rose.
Yeah, there you go.
You just give her a slightly different character where she's doing kind of a tough girl accent, and she obviously just sounds like she's doing the V voice.
Yep.
There's a good like part where like they're all lined up, like the three characters are lined up, but they're kind of off center a little bit. Like there should be someone next to them, you know?
Maybe.
And maybe they're just kind of hiding Amy for later.
I think
that a rouge.
It would be extremely funny if they go the entire press cycle never revealing that Amy is in it, and you go see the movie and she's just there the entire time.
Yeah.
Because remember the press cycle for No Way Home, where they had to edit out Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield from a lot of like action scenes. There was that infamous bit where the lizard gets kicked by no one in one of the trailers.
That's so funny.
So yeah, I'm actually like, oh, they're gonna do it. They're gonna shoot that little girl.
They're gonna shoot that little girl.
We didn't get Aquaman's baby getting killed. We're gonna shoot that little girl though.
We are going to gun down Maria with the FBI having been responsible for it.
It's gonna be great. We're gonna radicalize a whole new generation of small children.
I'm fucking pumped to see that little girl get domed in a theater.
Oh man.
And then I'll watch the movie.
That's right.
Yeah.
America.
I hope that actress like will be able to appreciate all of the people who are cheering for her death.
That's right.
For normal reasons and not for, weird chud reasons.
No, it's going to be so insane where someone takes their kid to see this movie and like their kid's crying at the scene where the child gets murdered because half the audience is cheering.
Next, the movie cycle continues. Hey, guess what? Borderlands is no longer the biggest box office flop this year.
Oh god, what else came out?
The Crow made less than $5 million in its opening weekend.
That's brutal.
Oops.
Oh no.
No, that one deserved it though. That movie looks like really bad.
Crow reboot made almost half as much as the Borderlands movie did in its opening weekend.
Oh my god, I love this headline looking up this movie. The Crow original director roasts reboot after it flopped at the box office. I thought it was a cynical cash grab. Not much cash to grab, it seems.
Oh fuck.
Oh, that's some fucking Final Pam How Your Backyard Barbecue Go, the Smiths.
Yeah.
That's the guy who directed the original Crow adaptation in 1994. By the way.
That's beautiful. Oh,
Good.
They deserve it. Incredible.
Oh, good.
God. Well, you love to see it flop.
You love to see a good movie flop.
That just, I don't think that movie probably is as bad as people are saying, and it's definitely not worse than fucking Borderlands. However, The Crow is a movie that is like unremakeable, and they've tried a lot to remake and make sequels to The Crow. But like
the Borderlands movie had the benefit of being a Borderlands movie, which is a game that normies kind of like and recognize. People who like The Crow are going to watch The Crow.
Yeah, like
I think the thing is that a lot of people who are like higher ups within like the movie infrastructure and business, like they don't understand what a cult classic is.
And like The Crow is like a really personal story, because like The Crow is doing the old 80s comic thing. By the way, it's a great comic if you've never read it. But I was a goth kid in high school, so
Yeah.
you know. But The Crow is like, it's based very, it's doing the thing of like vigilante superhero sort of like vigilante revenge story, because the main character has a dead fiance, right?
Right.
But kind of crucially, it was written because the author of the comic book had his fiance die in a car crash like several months prior, and he was just like processing his grief through this comic, right? Of just like mourning like the future they weren't going to have together kind of thing. So he's like, you know, he was processing a lot, so you give it a pass, obviously. But like no other adaptation of The Crow like really went as hard into like this kind of element of like grieving and mourning and the really kind of like goth like pondering, right? The goth pondering that Brandon Lee does in that movie is so intense.
I think it's gonna be my new Twitter handle, Goth Pondering.
Yeah, listen, you have to do goth pondering. It's good for the soul.
That's the episode title right there.
I'm doing quite well, it's a better episode title than Nazi Gold, I'll give you that.
That's for sure. Kinzer Shiramir's Nazi Gold.
Do we have a?
I think that might qualify as spoiling people inadvertently if we didn't go through the title.
True.
Also, I don't think you can have have the word Nazi in your podcast title.
No, that's fair.
You're telling me the super best friends can get away with Aryan resurrection and we can't call our episode Nazi Gold?
Well, I don't think YouTube will let us do it.
Well, can we get away with doing that old ancient 4chan comic book panel of Red Skull screaming at Magneto?
That's funny.
I mean, I can do that as the title card.
But we put Kinzo's hair on top of Red Skull.
Oh god, no, that's too much photoshopping. I want something easy this week.
All right.
So it's goth pondering instead. But no, like, you know, the problem is that no other like Crow anything really went hard on like the like extreme gothness of it. And I've heard that the movie, like the trailer has fucking like, I think it's got a Post Malone song in it. I don't know.
Okay, well then that's all right. We're done with that.
The movie has like Joy Division, right? Like it has the correct amount of music that you would want from The Crow in it. But they marketed it all wrong. Like, if you're gonna make a movie about the single most goth thing ever, make it appeal to that subgenre of people.
Yeah.
They'll go see it, I promise. Like, they'll go. But they did not, and so it flopped. And it didn't deserve to do worse than Borderlands, probably. But it did deserve to do poorly, so I don't feel that bad for it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, you know, rest in peace, Brandon Lee. You beautiful man.
I do hear a rare shop talk on the thing. I'm going to post an image that you should use for the thumbnail for this episode.
I don't get it, but I'm sure everyone else will, so that's fine.
I get it.
Gentlemen, behold the
Thermo
stack.
Okay, I get it now.
Yeah.
It was either this or the CG of him fucking going up like a Halloween jack-o'-lantern, but I think it's a little too gruesome for the for the podcast.
Oh, but he deserves it.
Save it for podcasts when they cry too.
True.
So true, bestie.
One final article here.
Hit me.
Kingdom Hearts Union Cross Dark Road becomes delisted.
Yep.
Oh, I have an extra article then after this.
Okay.
This one.
Yeah, so the game we talked about a while ago. The game had been set into a cutscene viewer exclusively, and the online gacha parts of Dark Road had been ripped out, which ironically made the game worse. Now the game has just been removed from all app stores, the Google Play Store, the iPhone App Store. The official website no longer has it available to download. Which is awkward because there's some plot in there that's probably going to be important in Kingdom Hearts 4.
Don't put your plot in your mobile game that nobody wanted to play that much.
So good timeline. This means they're remaking Union Cross and Dark Road into like a non-online game that you can buy on a console and play.
Oh.
Bad timeline. They're just not gonna.
They're not doing that. They're not doing that. It did not do the numbers. Yeah. Square Enix loves making bad business decisions. Did you not see the thing Yoshi P literally said earlier about how Square Enix wants to do more on the Xbox because they're fucking insane?
What's left to do?
I know.
There's no Xbox to do it on.
That's just what the man said. So
I think there's certain things that he has to say and express a commitment to in order to not be in violation of some kind of contract.
Probably they have to be like, no, you can play Final Fantasy 14 on the Xbox now. You can whatever amount of money he got to put Final Fantasy 14 on the Xbox includes some stipulation that he can't say shit that is going to make people less enthusiastic about buying the Xbox.
It makes me so upset that there was a brief period where Square Enix's CEO and Phil Spencer were standing on a podium in front of an audience and nothing happened.
And nobody beat them to death with sticks. We came so close, but no.
I'm very bummed out that this is happening because I think despite Dark Road being a bad game to play, I think it had a very interesting story and like a surprisingly in-depth look at Xehanort as a character.
Sure.
Same with Union Cross, which actually got like really fucking dark.
Right.
Near the end there, with a lot of stuff that will be very important later. And yes, Kingdom Hearts is pretty good at catching you up to speed because all the stuff that you might not know, Sora also doesn't know. Mm-hmm. So, like, they have to explain it to him. But, I mean, this is a bummer because, like, everything else in the entire franchise is available in some way or another. You can watch the cutscene compilations of Days Encoded, right? Yeah. Like, they're still available, even if you can't play the game. This is a bummer.
Yeah. It's the thing I worry the most about FGO, but we'll see.
Yeah, eventually
FGO's shuttering is extremely far off.
Yeah, but it's gonna happen.
It's gonna happen eventually. It has to happen to everything someday. So I worry.
Yep.
Sarah, all right. What was your last piece of news?
All right. Well, I actually have two more pieces of news, and we don't have to linger on any of them too long. The first one, late breaking for last night. Bandai Namco Online has announced that they are ending service on Blue Protocol, which is their Genshin-like.
That came out?
I didn't know
in Japan, it came out.
Wow.
They have said that they are closing down the Japanese servers for that in January of next year and have ended plans to release the game in the West in collaboration with Amazon Games. The rest of their statement's very simple and vague. But yeah, I think it's very funny coming off the heels of them announcing this new Tales remake initiative.
The moral of the story is always, 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 because if you are a Tales fan, you know this one already. Never play a Namco Bandai gacha game. Ever. Because they never last. They will shut them down brutally without a second thought, right?
This being their Genshin, you can tell it was a significantly greater investment for them than, their other Tales gachas. I think this is a thing where we're going to finally start getting the reverberations of the financial class in the games industry realizing that huge live service games are basically a trap past a certain point of market saturation.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely.
You cannot sustain developing one of these for 5-10 years for it to, completely bomb on release.
Unless you are, ironically, Tales or a Fate or something that, a big franchise, you can't do a Genshin game. I think you could do a Genshin, you could do FGO2 and it's Genshin, and I think it would thrive, right? I think it would do extremely well. Or
you just bring back that original concept for the MMO they based the Apocrypha anime off.
Yeah, exactly. Or you could do a Tales game that was a Genshin, right? Like a true Genshin.
Oh yeah, I think Tales would, like, an actual straight up Tales game would be a good fit for that format.
Yeah, absolutely. And have it just be a crossover game, but like a real one, not one on your phone, like one that you can also play on a console, like a Genshin, right? I know you can play Genshin on your phone, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But I don't think anything original at this point can compete with MiHoYo.
Yeah, well, it's the problem that all of these trend chasers run into, which is that you are chasing a trend that by definition players will not want to branch out to.
Right.
Because it's the same thing that happened to Overwatch. People just like to play Overwatch.
Yeah.
They don't want to play your game that's like Overwatch. They already have Overwatch.
And
they don't want to play your Genshin like they already have Genshin.
And I think also a big part of Genshin's success is not even like that it was particularly good, but like it's just globally the novelty of getting to play a Breath of the Wild for free.
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure. That was a big part of it.
And it wasn't a good Breath of the Wild by any stretch of the imagination, but it was a free-to-play Breath of the Wild, which gives it a significant marketing push.
It was a gacha game that wasn't just tapping through menus.
Yeah, but
it's like a platformer.
Every other thing that tries to be Genshin has to contend with, like, we'll either catch that the reality of Genshin is that that was very impressive and you need to do something else to be impressive, or they just try and copy Genshin and no one comes because, like, the novelty of playing free Breath of the Wild has significantly worn off.
But just imagine a Tales Genshin where it plays like, Symphonia or Vesperia. And you just give everyone in the like all of the Tales protagonists, give them like 4 arts, and it just plays like an old school Tales game.
Yeah.
There you go. Done.
They kind of had that with Dragalia Lost a little bit, honestly.
Yeah.
Dragalia Lost is a similar kind of game.
Yeah.
I'm still sad about that. The other news article, because it feels like a weird one to end the show on, but it is also like we have to add to the pile of bad Bungie news. We found, so you remember like a couple months ago when they inexplicably replaced the director of the Marathon reboot with like an ex-Valorant guy who wanted to turn into a hero shooter, and like everyone was really confused because no one wants that.
Right.
Turns out, really explicable reasons they got rid of the guy who was directing the Marathon reboot. That being a credible, several complaints lodged on account of him being a huge sex pest of female employees at one.
That's correct.
I see.
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah, that makes sense now.
And that guy was like a Bungie old head who had gotten really comfortable at his place in the company and maybe a little too comfortable with female employees of various levels of juniority to him. And it turns out too much of a liability to be allowed to stay at the company.
Well,
I see.
There you go.
I have one last very minor small news. 6 days before they make the update for it, Milepost 0 has been delayed.
No. Wait.
Milepost 0 update. Caravans are loading up. The Blue Ridge Caravan Company is loading up the Brahmin and will be set on September 3rd. However, make your mark on Skyline Valley by building your own caravan outposts later next month. Milepost 0, the update, is still coming to Appalachia on September 3rd.
That's so funny.
Oh,
that's so fun. Yeah, because they can't delay the new season.
No.
They can't delay the new season, but they have to delay the whole point of the fucking update.
So funny.
Wah, wah. They should just give us that time to complete the current season.
Unfortunately, they're not going to do that.
Unfortunately, the season has not been up. Yeah, that's not being delayed.
No, that is like, you can't do that kind of thing easily, and independent of the core mechanic of the X-Pack not working, they still have to make money.
Very funny, very funny. Just never mind.
That's extraordinarily funny. I'm okay with that because it also means I can like I've been taking it fairly light on 76 this week, and it means I can start the next season on a slower.
Yeah.
I'm alright with that.
Yeah.
It does sound like the rest of the update is still being pushed forward. So like all of the other stuff like legendary crafting and all of the weapon rebalances and whatnot, that's still going forward. But
just the actual complicated part.
The actual content. Yeah.
Okay. Well, there you go.
Oh, Fallout, you never fucking change.
Fallout.
Oh, 76. You never change.
War.
Okay.
War never changes.
And on that note, good night, everybody.
Special thanks. Oh, yeah, go ahead.
No, do your special thanks
Okay.
first. I don't remember if you-
Special thanks to Visitor if you use Record Music. Follow us all on our social medias. Email us at thegorgepodcast@gmail.com. Follow us on, or join our Discord and join our Patreon, patreon.com/thegorge. And that's about it, yeah.
Fuck Ushiromi Akinzo.
Fuck
Ushiromia Kinzo.
Oh my
Man.
god. Oh my god. What
Yeah,
a
but don't
scumbag.
fuck that old man.
Don't
Don't
actually
fuck that
fuck that
old
old man.
He's done enough fucking.
Yeah, unfortunately, he has made. Oh my god. Oh, I can't believe it.
UMINEKO is an exercise of showing you a guy who really sucks and teaching you over a very long period of time that, you know, like, people who suck are still people, and, like,
Right.
you do have to, like, engage with them as humans to a certain extent in order to, like, understand them and hopefully try and make things better. And then also goes, but what if they sucked even more than you thought they did?
But not
And
this
actually,
one.
You should actually not engage with this one at all. In fact, it's cool that he died. We're really happy. The only problem with Kinzo Ushiromiya already being dead is that we can't kill him again. Right? So yeah, fucking UMINEKO, man, what a ride. It's a great visual novel that will do irreversible psychic damage to you and everybody else who interacts with it. So cool.
There you go.
I love it.
Good night, everyone.
Good night, everyone.
Night, folks.